Chapter 724. Qingyang Royal City. In the city square. Fan Ping was illiterate, so he had no choice but to move with the others. Soon, they reached a corner in the northeast corner. The plaza was open air, and the people in the restricted area did not prepare any rooms for everyone to rest in. To a martial artist, the influence of the environment was nothing. Fan Ping and the others had just arrived when someone approached them from the side, carrying a large parcel in his arms. Unlike the others who were cold and aloof, this person looked much more amiable. His face was full of smiles, and he was dressed in a brocade robe. It seemed like his status was not low, and he did not come from some outer city. In the outskirts of the catacombs, some of the aristocrats in the royal city would wear brocade robes or something similar to silk. It was not made of ordinary cotton or silk, but something similar to a demon plant's product. On the other hand, the residents of the outer city wore much more ordinary clothes. As for the villages outside, many people would wear animal skin clothing. One could tell the identity of some people from their attire. Right now, Fan Ping was not wearing a brocade robe. Instead, he was wearing a set of expensive Royal City Imperial Guard armor. The man in the brocade robe was not old. He was full of smiles the moment he arrived. "Are you all from the 7 southern regions? Let me introduce myself. I'm from the 6 southern regions, a neighboring region. My name is Jin Yuhuai, from Hibiscus City." Jin Yuhuai introduced for a while. He did not care about Fan Ping and the rest's vigilance and indifference. Very quickly he smiled and said, "It's my first time coming to the palace. I don't know much about the other territories. Are there any Land of Rebirth martial artists over there?" Fan Ping's gaze flickered slightly. He quickly smiled and said, "Yes, do you have them over there too?" This was asking a question he already knew the answer to. Fan Ping knew where the 6 southern regions were. Danwu Catacombs. 8 southern territories Donglin Catacombs, 9 southern territories Nanjiang Catacombs. Naturally, Fan Ping knew all these. However, he had never been to Danwu Martial Arts University's catacombs. He did know an elite student from Danwu Martial Arts University a long time ago. When he was doing a mission as a rank 1, he had met a student from Danwu Martial Arts University. Hibiscus City. Fan Ping thought about it. It seemed to be the city at the forefront of the war with humans. He had never been to the Danwu catacombs, but he had skimmed through the game Otherworld Invasion. This game was not bad. At least it gave people a general understanding of the catacombs. As soon as Fan Ping answered, Jin Yuhuai did not know if he was happy or disappointed. His gaze changed slightly. Very quickly he smiled and said, "So there are resurrected martial artists in the 7 southern regions too." Resurrected martial artists are everywhere. Have all of you fought with the revived martial artists before? As soon as this was said, Hua Beirong also replied, "No, we haven't been fighting the martial artists who have been resurrected." This time, Jin Yuhuai revealed a joyful expression and hurriedly said with a smile, "Our Hibiscus City and the revived martial artists have been fighting for a long time. It's rare for us to meet in the Imperial Court. Since we have nothing to do, why don't we trade? I have a lot of rare items that can resurrect martial artists. They are very precious." As Jin Yuhuai spoke, he quickly opened his big package. The corner of Fan Ping's mouth twitched. "Everyone, do you see that? This is called the energy pill. It is an extremely rare treasure. Although the energy is not too abundant, and our cultivation system is slightly different from the resurrected martial artists, the energy pill is still beneficial to us. Resurrected martial artists rarely carry these treasures. It's really too difficult to seize these treasures." "Vitality pill?" Hua Beirong laughed and said, "This is not considered a treasure. When we fought with the resurrected martial artists, some people also seized them. There shouldn't be many, right?" Jin Yuhuai said with a face full of smiles. "The resurrected martial artists view them as treasures. They don't bring many with them. Even if you have seized some, it will be very little. At critical moments they will still destroy these, right?" Hua Beirong nodded. This was true. Monster Sunflower City had not fought many times with humans. It had not been long, and the few times they had been defeated, they had not really seized many vitality pills. Moreover, the vitality pills that martial artists carried were only used to replenish their vitality. Once the battle started, they would be used up very quickly. Unless they were killed instantly, these would be destroyed in the end. This vitality pill is effective for middle-level martial artists. It's even more rare. Jin Yuhuai's words were extravagant. Soon, he smiled and said, "If everyone is interested, 10 rank 9 life stones will do." So expensive? In the crowd, the others were also listening. When they heard this, they were speechless. 10 rank 9 life stones! One had to know that a rank 8 descendant like the Red Alder could only receive 3 stones a month. Of course, coming to the restricted area this time, everyone would more or less bring some resources, and the quantity was not small. Everyone was carrying a big bag, and it was all good stuff. Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, "Rare things are expensive. This is a treasure for resurrected martial artists. 10 rank 9 life stones is not considered expensive." Fan Ping's eyeballs almost popped out. Damn, he had met someone in the same industry. Big hoodwinker? In the catacombs, a life stone was almost calculated according to a caddy. 500 grams, that was worth 300 million. It was impossible for Fan Ping not to be familiar with the vitality pill in this guy's hand. It was considered the best of the vitality pills, a rank 4 vitality pill. Middle-ranked vitality pills were actually very rare. This was because middle-ranked martial artists no longer relied on pills to cultivate, and the speed was relatively slow. A rank 4 vitality pill used to be worth millions. But now, with the increase of energy stones, and in order to promote martial arts among the people, the price of vitality pills had dropped greatly. Normal vitality pills were almost down to 10,000 each. As for rank 4, the value would not exceed 1 million. 1 million. 10 energy stones for 3 billion? The look in Fan Ping's eyes changed. Was he stupid? Why didn't he think of that? Was there anyone buying it? There was. Just as Jin Yuhuai announced the price, a peak rank 5 martial artist in the crowd asked curiously, "I don't think the energy in this pill is abundant. It's not even as good as a rank 7 lifestone. 10 of them is too expensive. Is this helpful for our cultivation?" "Of course." Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, "This is called a vitality pill. It mainly helps resurrected martial artists cultivate their vitality force. It's slightly weaker than us, but it's still very helpful for us. For low-level martial artists, the truly precious pill is the bone-honing pill. It can speed up the process of honing bones. You can imagine how precious it is. We don't have this pill to help us hone our bones. However, this pill is too rare. Even if it's only effective for low-level martial artists, its value is not lower than this vitality pill. For us, the pill is more effective is called the 11 pill." As he spoke, Jin Yuhuai took out a pill and said with a smile, "This is it. It's very helpful for honing our internal organs, but this is expensive. It costs 30 rank 9 life stones." "So expensive!" everyone exclaimed. Fan Ping was stunned again. The 11 pill! F***ck, he had exchanged for this before. It was helpful for honing the internal organs. It was not cheap. It was 200 credits per pill, and this was before the credit system was reformed. At that time, 1 credit was 30,000. 200 credits were worth 6 million. It was too expensive, at least to Fan Ping at that time. However, after the credit system was reformed, some things dropped in price. The 11 pill seemed to have dropped in price too. Fan Ping did not pay much attention to it later because he did not use it anymore. Instead, he used the Catacombs 100 honing fruit. This thing was more effective than the 11 pill. Even if it was 6 million, 30 caddies of energy stones was worth 9 billion. Fan Ping was really shocked. Was there an idiot who would buy it? It was a 1,000-fold profit. Was there? No. However, at this moment, someone actually bargained. On Fang Ping's side, a rank 5 martial artist frowned and said, 30 is too expensive. I can consider 10. Fang Ping's fingers trembled. Your family owns a mine? You want to buy an 11 pill with 3 billion? You must be crazy. Even if most of these people were Powerhouse's descendants, 10 caddies of rank 9 energy stones was definitely not a small amount. It might be their share for a few months. In the end, they used a few months' share in exchange for a pill? But soon, Fang Ping became thoughtful. The rarer something was, the greater its value. This saying was true. In the catacombs, energy stones were not considered scarce. At least for these Powerhouse's descendants, if they did not consume too much and their mineral veins could be regenerated, it was not too rare. The rank 8 Kuei Luo had accumulated tens of thousands of caddies of energy stones in 100 years. Most of these people were children of aristocrats. This time, they had also brought a lot of wealth to the restricted area. Using 10 caddies of energy stones to exchange for a treasure they had probably never seen before, even if the effect was average, they might not feel like they were at a disadvantage. Everyone had the desire to seek novelty. This person bargained, but Jin Yuhuai looked troubled. He quickly shook his head and said, "That won't do. This is too rare. We got this from the dead body of a high-ranked powerhouse after we killed him. Many of our men died. 10 life stones can't be exchanged for that. Brother, if you're willing, why not exchange for a vitality pill? 10 vitality pills are enough." Fang Ping gave this guy a long look. Unscrupulous businessman. What kind of F***king high-ranked powerhouse would carry 11 pills and vitality pills? You could only fool a fool. At the higher ranks, these pills would no longer have any effect. Only a fool would run away with the pills. Human powerhouses wished they could not bring anything with them and go to the catacombs naked to fight. Middle-ranked martial artists would also consume these pills quickly. It was rare, but to say that it was obtained by killing a high-ranked powerhouse was bullshit. Profit, 1,000 times profit. He wanted to sell something worth $1 million for 3 billion. 3,000 times. Fang Ping suddenly had a thought. He still wanted to F***king earn money. Mining was so troublesome. Should he become a middleman too? There were many mineral veins in the catacombs. Energy stones were very valuable in the human world, but in the catacombs world, the prices might not be high. Although there were wars with humans in the outer realm, there were not many cities. Moreover, there were not many spoils of war seized from human martial artists. Humans were poor. These pills were indeed rare in the catacombs. Large-scale transactions probably won't have much effect. If there are too many of them, they won't be valuable anymore. But with the mentality of seeking novelty and selling them on a small scale, I'll definitely make a fortune. Fang Ping began to plan in his heart. The catacombs were too big. So big that there was no end to it. The population was at least tens of billions. Selling to a few thousand people would probably not even cause a ripple. If one person could earn 10 caddies of energy stones, a few thousand people, that would be tens of thousands of caddies. Fang Ping hurriedly began to check his storage space. Did he have these things? His storage space had been cleaned many times. He did not need many things anymore. If he did not need them, he would just throw them to the university. After a closer look, Fang Ping was really a little depressed. He did not seem to have any. No. Fang Ping searched for a long time and actually found a resurrection pill in the corner. Fang Ping had forgotten when he had saved it. The resurrection pill was also a good item for healing injuries. The first time Fang Ping saw a resurrection pill, it was used by that little rich lady, Qin Yinxi. She used it when she was only rank 1. It was extremely extravagant. A resurrection pill was also worth about 5 million. However, this thing was good for middle and low ranks. At high ranks, it was useless. Especially at rank 8, with the existence of imperishable substance, resurrection pills were useless. They were not even as effective as a wisp of imperishable substance. At this moment, seeing that Jin Yuhuai was promoting his products, Fang Ping glanced at them casually and said lightly, These medicinal pills aren't considered precious. The real treasure is a type of healing medicinal pill used to resurrect martial artists, resurrection pill. That is the real treasure. It is very rare. Unlike these pills, there are still some spoils. I think you guys probably didn't get any resurrection pills. Jin Yuhui heard his words and was slightly stunned. Then, he nodded and said, "This brother is right. I have also heard of the resurrection pill. However, that is a life-saving pill. Once in a crisis, resurrected martial artists will take it. There won't be any left." Fang Ping smiled and said, "I have obtained one before. I have always regarded it as a treasure. However, this pill is only useful for middle-level martial artists." Having said that, Fang Ping smiled and said, "I am not too far away from commander level. If anyone is willing to buy it, I can exchange it for 100 life stones." No matter how small a mosquito was, it was still meat. Fang Ping felt that he had to take the opportunity to sell it. 5 million for 100 caddies of energy stones, 30 billion. It would be too stupid not to take this deal. 100? Someone exclaimed. "That's too expensive." Hua Beirong could not help but say, "Kui Ming, do you have this kind of pill too? But you don't lack life stones. Don't sell it." Others thought it was expensive, but Hua Beirong felt that Kui Ming did not lack life stones. There was no need to sell it. This was a spoil of war. Perhaps it was also a spoil of war from Venerable Quiluo's collection. 100 life stones were not considered a lot to Kui Ming. After all, he was the only son of his father. Kui Ming's net worth was no less than that of the average rank 9 descendant. Fang Ping smiled and said, "I happen to see Brother Jean selling martial artists resurrected pills. I see that many of you have not seen it before. If that's the case, why don't I share it with everyone?" Having said that, Fang Ping rummaged in the big bag beside him for a while and took out a crystal box. He smiled and said, "Is there anyone who is willing to buy it? Or you can exchange it with something else." Jin Yuhui glanced at Fang Ping. Was he here to steal his business? But then again, he really did not have a resurrection pill. It was not considered a conflict. Jin Yuhui came earlier than Fang Ping and the others. He had done a lot of business. He sold no less than 100 pills and made a huge profit. Now that Fang Ping had offered a high price, he did not expose him. If he exposed Fang Ping, he would be exposing himself. Although there were battles in the 107 territories, the Southern Territory had the most battles. Moreover, these foreign geniuses rarely participated in this kind of war. They did not know enough about resurrected martial artists. Even if they knew that these pills might not be good stuff, there would always be people who would be interested. Everyone did not lack energy stones too much. Thousands of people, he sold 100 pills. It was not a lot. However, the profits that he earned were probably only known by a few people. Both of them began to peddle their pills, and many people became interested. However, 100 was indeed too high. On the 7 Southern Territories side, a peak rank 6 martial artist haggled with Fang Ping for a while and bought his resurrection pill with 50 rank 9 energy stones. Even so, the other party was still quite happy. Using a year's worth of expenses to buy a life-saving pill for resurrected martial artists that he had never seen before, the other party felt that he had made a profit. At this age, a peak rank 6 martial artist was at least a descendant of a rank 8 martial artist, or even a descendant of a city lord. 50 energy stones were really not much. Fang Ping, on the other hand, looked a little pained, but he was cursing in his heart. Idiots! These guys were really King rich. 50 caddies of energy stones in exchange for a resurrection pill. They were willing to do that. Can this deal be done? After Fang Ping sold the resurrection pill, he was thinking about this matter. Should he sneak into the restricted area next time and sell some pills to make a fortune? If he sold too many, there would be problems. The catacombs martial artists could not get that many pills. Even if they fought with humans, they would not get that many. Once they investigated, it would be easy to find problems. Evil sect martial artists. Do they trade with the catacombs martial artists? Fan Ping suddenly had this thought. Some of the evil sect martial artists had entered the restricted area. The evil sect had cultivated so many martial artists and consumed a lot of resources. However, according to the records of companies like the Pill Company, large transactions were traceable. Logically, the evil sect did not have so many resources to cultivate martial artists. Although Lin Long and the others also mingled in the evil sect, the strength of their subordinates was not too strong. On the other hand, the big sect might have trade with the catacombs. As he thought about this, Fan Ping did not think too much about it. He did not bring any pills. It was enough to earn some pocket money. The key was that Fan Ping saw a business opportunity now. Some of the treasures in the catacombs were usually very difficult for humans to obtain. For example, divine fruit, 100 honing fruit, vein molding flower, dark moon grass. It was very difficult for humans to obtain these things. Some of them were even special products of the catacombs. Once out of this catacombs, there would be no more. However, now that all the people from other areas had gathered here, should he trade for some good stuff? At this moment, Jin Yuhua was not the only one trading. Those who came here were not too poor. If they were really poor, they would not have the resources to cultivate to the middle ranks. When these people came to the restricted area, they would bring as many things as they could. He needed to get some things done. He also needed to cultivate, so he could not rely on divine sect or dynasty to supply them. Fan Ping did not stay in the same place. Instead, he began to wander around. He had quite a lot of energy liquid on him. He compressed it and stored it in energy crystal bottles. This time, he brought it with him too. Previously, he had exchanged about 2,000 caddies. Fan Ping purposely hid about 300 caddies, then gave Feng Extinguisher and Li 500 caddies each. Right now, he had about 700 caddies on him. 700 caddies of energy liquid was equivalent to 3,500 caddies of energy stones. With so many energy stones, he was not considered poor. Among the thousands of people present, there would definitely be people who had brought more than Fan Ping. After all, there was no shortage of descendants of the city lords here. However, among the rank 8 descendants, Fan Ping should also be the tycoon type. Perhaps my purpose is nothing else but to take advantage of this opportunity to obtain more things in the catacombs that will be of great help to human cultivation. Especially treasures that can enhance mentality. Even though the cultivation method of the brain core had been discovered, humans were still in urgent need of treasures that could enhance mentality. However, the catacombs valued this relatively more, so the price was not cheap. On the other hand, things like the 100 honing fruit and the vein molding flower that were helpful to middle-ranked martial artists were not considered expensive. These things all grew in the energy mines. Humans did not have the conditions to obtain these items in large quantities, but the catacombs did. This was also the reason why there were so many middle-ranked martial artists in the catacombs. Fan Ping began to wander and trade. He did not dare to buy in large quantities, but he exchanged for a few of all kinds of treasures, so it was not considered eye-catching. While buying these things, Fan Ping listened to everyone's conversations. These people came from various territories. Some of the things they discussed were also related to humans. They were all descendants of the higher-ups. Some seemingly unimportant information was extremely important to Fan Ping. For example, Fan Ping heard someone discussing, "Gigantic Willow Capital City has recently sent someone to discuss the alliance with us. Brother Lu, your Gigantic Willow Capital City has fought with the martial artists who were resurrected a few times. How are their strengths? Are they very strong? They're all right. I've seen a guy. He's quite fierce. I think he's called Wang Jinyang or something, but there aren't many powerhouses like that. I heard from my father that the king has already agreed to the alliance. This time, when I return from the royal court, maybe I'll also have to fight the martial artists who were resurrected. Brother Bai, this time, the king is preparing to surround and kill the Land of Rebirth's Western Guardian in the Four-City Alliance. Is there hope? There's still hope. The royal court will send people to assist. As long as the other territories also contribute, it won't be difficult to surround and kill the other party so that the land of rebirth has no reinforcements. But I heard that the Western Guardian is not far from the true king level. Isn't it too dangerous? It's precisely because he's not far away that we have to kill him. The Sino Nation's Department of Investigation's minister, Moon Prince, has already broken through. We can't let them have another true king. The royal court has already issued orders several times to surround and kill the other party. Fan Ping's pupils contracted slightly. Surround and kill Zhang Weiyu? When these people arrived in the restricted area, they were unscrupulous and would talk about whatever gossip they had. After all, they were in the restricted area, thousands of miles away from the human world. Whatever they said, it would not be spread. Not to mention, when they arrived in the restricted area, they might not be able to return. If that was the case, there was no harm in talking about it. Could it be that there were still humans listening here? The prodigies from various territories had nothing to do anyway. They gossiped for a while, and there were many topics to talk about. As long as it was related to humans, Fan Ping would listen carefully. Over at the Nanjiang Catacombs, the cities seemed to be forming an alliance. Over at the Shijiang Catacombs, there were people preparing to surround and kill Zhang Weiyu. Even the Shishan Catacombs seemed to have some movements. Maple King seemed to have sent someone to find an opportunity to ambush and kill those human martial artists who were cultivating in Shishan City. Tens of thousands of martial arts university new students. Many martial arts university new students were cultivating in Shishan City now. There had been no war in the Shishan Catacombs for many years. The most recent one was because of Fan Ping that some powerhouses were mobilized. But now, the other party seemed to know about the situation of the humans here. They knew that there were tens of thousands of human new martial artists cultivating in the city. According to these people, let the rank 9 powerhouses move first, luring away the human rank 9 powerhouse, which was Fan Yu. The other martial artists would gather in areas where rank 7 and 8 would not be able to sense them. When the high-ranked powerhouses were lured away, they would surround the city together, ambush Shishan City, and kill those new students. These messages made Fan Ping's heart move. Shouldn't I go out now? There was movement in the catacombs. Maybe it was because of the recent increase in battles. These catacombs martial artists were not satisfied with peace, and were beginning to prepare for a big move. But from what these people said, they were still planning. The alliance of the catacombs cities was not something that could be done in a day or two. It would probably still take some time. I still have to go out as soon as possible. Fan Ping calculated in his heart. Not to mention others, Zhang Weiyu and Shishan City had to be careful. Zhang Weiyu was now the number 1 person below the absolute peak. Nen Yunyue had entered the absolute peak, and Zhang Weiyu was not far behind. If they were surrounded and killed, the loss would be great. It was the same for Shishan City. Tens of thousands of new students had to evacuate at the last minute, but it was too late. If they were involved, some of these new students were aspiring martial artists, and they would definitely die. Also, they had to be careful of the Nanjiang Catacombs. Right now, Wu Chuan was overseeing the Nanjiang Catacombs. Later on, Old Fan would be overseeing it. He also had to remind them to be careful of the other party's alliance, and to take humans by surprise. 1 month at most. I must leave within a month. Fan Ping calculated in his heart. According to what these people said, if it was an alliance, the time to attack should be near the end of the year. This was the time when the Shijiang Catacombs would attack. At that time, some of the martial artists would evacuate, and it would be the easiest time to ambush and kill Zhang Weiyu. As for the Shishan Catacombs, it might not be until the end of the year, because the new students would evacuate at the end of the year. The catacombs were also clear about these things, and they might attack before the end of the year. Just these gains alone, this time I didn't come in vain, Fan Ping thought in his heart. Maybe this time, he could take the opportunity to kill a group of people. Sure enough, what old Zhang said was right. After entering the catacombs, it was still necessary to listen to more gossip. Things that the catacombs martial artists did not care about might be earth-shattering news to humans. Chapter 725. While Fang Ping and the others were trading. Qingyang Royal City, City Lord's Mansion. City Lord Residence Main Hall. A huge crystal screen appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, there were dozens of experts gathered in the hall. On the screen was the plaza where Fang Ping and the others were. Everyone looked at it for a while, and a young man chuckled and said, "This little thing is not bad. Who thought of this idea? It feels quite interesting. I learned it from the Land of Rebirth." A martial artist said faintly, "The Land of Rebirth doesn't have much, but it does have a lot of these messy things." The Land of Rebirth? That whatever great pope sent it? Not bad. It's alright, but there's no sound. It's not as convenient as the immortal god's detection. The indestructible god's probe can be easily sensed by others. This kind of image switching is more subtle. If it can be done on a large scale, next time, we'll set up these at the entrance of the outer realm, including the Imperial Sea Mountain," someone said solemnly. "At that time, if the revived martial artists don't discover us, we can choose the best opportunity to defeat them in one fell swoop." At the front of the crowd, Feng Yesheng smiled and said, "It's difficult. It's very troublesome to set up such a large-scale setup. Moreover, it will take a long time, and it will require a true King Realm cultivator to use the undying god to solidify and then transform. It will be fine to fool those below the true King Realm, but it will be difficult for those at the true King Realm. If we hide ourselves, the other party might not notice us. Especially at Mount Imperial Sea. That place is a realm solidified by the true King's indestructible god. The other party might not be able to sense it." "That's true." Feng Yesheng smiled and said, "It will be interesting if it can be used on a large scale. Every move of the Land of Rebirth's true King powerhouses is under our surveillance. If we seize the opportunity, we might be able to kill a few true King powerhouses." As they spoke, Li leaned back on the huge chair and said lazily, "If we can create it, can't the Land of Rebirth create it?" Feng Yesheng said with a faint smile. "So what if I can create it? Their strength is inferior to ours, so they can't come to royal court. How can they monitor royal court's actions?" As for the outer regions, the difference in strength was also huge. Even if they could observe every movement in the outer regions' cities, what could they do? Would they dare to initiate an attack? As soon as he said this, a young man in the crowd suddenly sneered and said, "Why wouldn't I dare? It was said that the 7 southern regions had been attacked many times, the 18 southern regions had been directly breached, and the 11 southern regions' divine generals had all been slaughtered. Feng Yesheng, other people might say that, but not you." Feng Yesheng's expression was cold. He looked at the youth who spoke and said coldly, "Hua Yu, what is the meaning of this?" The youth called Hua Yu had a mocking smile on his face as he said indifferently, "What do you mean? Do you not understand? Feng Yesheng, if you have time, you should cultivate more. Don't go around all day. Was a commander at the middle stage qualified to inherit the position of King Lord at this time? Among the 16, you are the weakest. Even Li is much stronger than you. What right do you have to fight for the Lord's position?" At the side, Li's expression was ugly as she snorted. "Hua Yu, royal father is not dead yet. It is not your place to discuss such things in front of this consort." Hua Yu didn't mind. He smiled and said, "Li, I didn't mean anything by it. However, King Lord is not feeling well and still has to worry about the matters of the royal court. We also want to share some of the pressure with King Lord so that King Lord does not overwork himself. Moreover, we are not like some people. We remember that King Lord has sacrificed so much for the royal court. Some people are different. They are extremely arrogant and despotic. Even in the royal court, they are unscrupulous. In the previous battle of the royal court, every family suffered heavy losses. Hundreds of reserve commander prodigies were lost in an instant. If not for that, why do we need to recruit prodigies from the outer regions into the royal court? After all, these people were not groomed from young. We do not know them well. We have to choose again. Feng Mieshing's expression was ashen. Now, he was not the only successor to the throne. There were 16 people, some strong and some weak. The strong ones were even weaker than a rank 9. The weak ones were like him, who had just reached middle stage rank 7. However, among these 16 people, Li did not have the support of a true king. Her father was about to die, so naturally, she had no chance. As for the others, some of them were not weak, but they did not have a strong background. It was not easy for them to rise to the position. Feng Mieshing was different. His grandfather was the Maple King. Moreover, the Maple King had many good friends in the true King Hall who supported the Feng family. Feng Mieshing's ability might be a little weak, but when the Lord died, he could probably reach the venerable stage. A venerable inheriting the Lord's position was not considered too weak. After sitting on the Lord's position for a few years, he could also enter the divine general stage quickly and even comprehend the Tao of origin quickly. However, among the 16 people, there were still opponents. For example, Hua Yu. The other party was also a descendant of a true king. Of course, Hua Yu's true king ancestor was more than 7 or 8 generations removed from his bloodline. His status was not as distinguished as his. Feng Mieshing was furious, but he hated Fan Ping even more. If Fan Ping had not killed a large number of prodigies in the battle of the royal court, he would have at least dozens of commander-level martial artists under his command. If Uncle Wang was not dead, he would also be a powerhouse among the divine generals and could support him. Now that Uncle Wang was dead, he could not go to the Maple King for everything. That would make him seem too useless. After a few times, the Maple King would probably be disappointed in him. When he thought of his father again, Feng Mieshing snorted coldly in his heart. His father could not help at all. Up until now, he had not even entered the venerable stage. This made Feng Mieshing extremely angry. Otherwise, he would not have made things difficult for him. Although the Maple King still had 3 divine generals under his command, these divine generals also had their own missions. The Maple King's royal territory was huge, covering 9 royal cities. Now 2 divine generals were the masters of 2 royal cities. One was in the true King Hall waiting for the Maple King's orders. As for the Maple King, he could only order around a few venerable martial artists. This time, Feng Mieshing did not respond to Hua Yu's provocation. Among the people present, there were people from the 8 major divine sects and people from the 12 dynasties. Last time, many of these people from the subsidiary forces had died. Many of them were very dissatisfied with him. At this time, when Hua Yu mentioned the battle of the royal court, it was obvious that he was up to no good. Seeing that Feng Mieshing did not speak, Hua Yu smiled and did not continue. Instead, he looked at the giant screen and said, "This time, a total of more than 4,700 people were brought in from the outer area. More than 1,600 of them are warlord martial artists. However, many of them are useless. Some of the city masters from the outer area sent in, but I'm afraid less than half of them have actually seen blood. This time, there are 8 dynasties, 6 divine sects, and 62 royal cities that came here. Everyone, please choose according to your taste. I have my eyes on a few of them too. Please don't fight with me," Hua Yu said lightly with a smile on his face. As the heir to the throne, it was necessary to nurture the forces under his command. He was a rank 8 powerhouse, and now he had many powerhouses under his command. However, the more the better. He had to pick some fellows who had high hopes of becoming high rank to add in new blood. Only then could his force become stronger. When the Lord fell, the strength of the force under his command was also a standard to consider. For example, Feng Mieshing did not have many powerhouses under his command. Even if he became a lord, could he command the world? Without direct subordinates to do things for him, even if he became a lord, he would still be a puppet. The people from the various dynasties and sects looked at the giant screen, staring at some people. It seemed like they had already made their choice. Feng Mieshing stared at the screen too. This time, he also had to recruit some new blood. Among the 16 heirs, his ability was the weakest, and the force under his command was also the weakest. Soon, Feng Yesheng saw Kui Ming wandering around in the crowd. Upper stage warlords were not considered strong. Even in the 7th Southern Territory, they were not the strongest. There were still 3 peak warlord martial artists in the 7th Southern Territory. This time, there were not many quasi-commander level martial artists. There was still no shortage of peak warlords. Among the 1,600 people, there were at least 100. However, after watching for a while, Feng Yesheng finally looked at Kui Ming. He calculated in his heart. This guy dared to attack a venerable when he was only a warlord. Even in the royal court, not many people dared to do this. If he was trained well, when he reached commander level, would he not dare to attack a divine general? This kind of person was brave enough, and his combat strength was not weak either. As long as he could subdue the other party, he would be a good sword. Many a time, commander-level martial artists would not dare to breathe when they saw a divine general martial artist. This kind of person might not be of much use at critical moments. Feng Yesheng was watching, and Li Yi, who was sitting on the throne, was watching too. Warlords were not considered much, but the strong rose from the weak. Choosing these foreign geniuses was not based on their strength. It did not matter if they were weak now, but their potential. Kui Ming is strong, has good potential, and is brave enough. Most importantly, he is not a bold but foolish person. Li Yi was also thinking. From the life fluid that Kui Ming had given her early in the morning, she could tell that this guy was not a foolish person. However, it was not easy to submit to such a person. As Li Yi thought about it, she suddenly laughed in her heart. Kui Ming was smart. He was not a reckless man, but he was not very shrewd. If he was shrewd, he would not have killed Red Alda today. Moreover, she was the Lord's son. She was more shrewd and more powerful than him. This guy had entered the royal court and had no friends. Who else could he rely on but her? It's good that he is not a reckless man. I do not lack a sword. If he is too stupid, it will be easy for him to ruin things. Moreover, she had personally gone to the 7th Southern Territory to fetch this person. He was also very clear about Kui Ming's background. His father, Kui Luo, seemed to have a good relationship with him. Kui Luo only had this one son. Maybe he could bring Kui Luo in later on. This way, they would have another venerable combat strength. There were many venerable powerhouses in the royal court, but there were not many of them after they were distributed. It was extremely difficult to subdue these people. On the other hand, if Kui Luo subdued Kui Ming, he would naturally lean towards her. The people in the basilica were still observing. On Fan Ping's side, he had exchanged for many useful things. There were a lot of specialties when people from the foreign territories gathered. In the past, Fan Ping knew that only the 100 honing fruit and the vein molding flower were useful to rank 4 and 5 martial artists. This time, he discovered a few new energy fruits. Some were even exchanging for life essence. However, there were not many of them, and they were expensive. Fan Ping did not exchange for them. After exchanging for some things, Fan Ping returned to the original place. At this moment, Jin Yuhuai had not left. Seeing that Fan Ping had returned, he said with a smile, "These things that Brother Kui exchanged for don't seem to be very helpful to Brother Kui." Fan Ping said nonchalantly, "I've never seen it before. I'll exchange for some as a souvenir. When I return to the 7th Southern Territory in the future, whether it's to cultivate or collect, it's not a bad idea." "That's true," Jin Yuhuai said with a smile. "Brother Kui has the same thought as me." "Right, where are you planning to go this time?" "What about you?" "Of course I want to go to Tianji City." Jin Yuhuai did not hide it and said with a smile, "Perhaps it will be more difficult in the beginning after going to the Imperial City, but it will be easier to get to know some big shots, and there will be more opportunities. In the outer realms, people like us can only stay at the Commander realm for the rest of our lives, or at most the Venerable realm. If I want to enter the King realm..." Fan Ping frowned. "Be careful with your words. In this place, you must say Divine General. Jin Yuhuai hurriedly smiled and said, Thank you for the reminder, Brother Kui. It's almost impossible for us to enter the Divine General realm. We only have hope in the Imperial Court. But a true king was hard to find, and becoming a disciple of a true king was far too difficult. Where the Imperial Court is, where the Imperial City is, there are only some true kings active there. I heard that the true King's Hall is near the Imperial City. Maybe if there's a chance, I can go to the true King's Hall to take a look. Even if it's just serving tea and going to the true King's Hall, it's still better than going to those dynasties and divine sects. It's a pity that the true King's Hall doesn't accept people at all. I can only look for opportunities. Jin Yuhuai came earlier than Fang Ping, so he knew more. He looked regretful. He was also a rank 6 martial artist, the same rank as Fang Ping, upper stage rank 6. Such a martial artist would be a powerhouse in the outer realms. In the human world, he would even be a master-level powerhouse. But at this moment, he would rather go to the true King's Hall to serve tea and pour water. There were dozens of true king powerhouses there. There were too many opportunities there. If a true king took a fancy to him and took him in as a disciple, he might become a commander very soon. Venerable was not far away, and there was hope for Divine General. When he said that, Fang Ping's heart stirred slightly. He smiled and said, Is the true King's Hall near the Imperial City? I really didn't know about this. I thought the true King's Hall was in the Imperial City. That's not it. The Imperial City is where the Lord is. The Lord is also not willing, you know. If they are together, it will easily lead to some trouble. But the distance is not far. Also, the Imperial City is too prosperous. The Lord True Kings need some peace, so they stay away from the hustle and bustle, hiding from the world. Fang Ping listened for a while and looked at him suspiciously. He said lightly, Brother Jin, why are you saying this to me? Jin Yuhuai smiled and said, It's rare to meet someone with the same interests. Moreover, Brother Kui and I are neighboring territories. Maybe we will meet again if fate allows it. In the future, once the bounded boundaries are opened, you and I will return to the outer realms. When that time comes, you and I may both be city lords, called kings and ancestors. When that time comes, you and I may even be able to form an alliance and fight side by side. Jin Yuhuai was thinking a lot. Both territories were neighboring territories, and there was a bounded boundaries in between. Once the bounded boundaries were opened, there would be no more obstacles. When that time came, they could travel together. For people from the outer realms, if they did not have a chance in the royal court, and when they reached rank 9 and there was no vacancy in the royal city's city lord position, many of them would plan to go to the outer realms to build a city, or simply replace a city lord's position. Many of those city lords from the outer realms went out from the restricted area. Of course, there were also people from the outer realms who came to the restricted area to gain experience, and went back after they had achieved something. Fang Ping heard that and smiled. Brother Jin, you think far ahead. That's true. If we join the same sect, we will still be brothers. Compared to outsiders, it is naturally easier to trust our fellow sect members. Jin Yuhuai smiled. I see that Brother Kuei's killing intent is boiling. It seems like you have been through many battles. Among these people here, there are really not many whose killing intent is faster than Brother Kuei's. Don't be fooled by the fact that some of these fellows claim to be from the front line of the land of rebirth. They don't even have the smell of blood on them. How can this kind of trash be mentioned in the same breath as you and I? Fang Ping's gaze changed slightly. He smiled and said, Brother Jin, you have killed many enemies in the outer realms? Of course. Jin Yuhuai smiled. In the outer realms, in Hibiscus City, we have been fighting with the land of rebirth for many years. Although the rebirth martial artists are difficult to deal with, they are not invincible. Jin Yuhuai boasted for a while about how many powerhouses he had killed and how many enemies he had defeated. Fang Ping, however, frowned slightly. There was a killing intent on Jin Yuhuai's body, but it was not considered strong. Was this fellow bragging? Over at Danwu Catacombs, the battles were not considered frequent. According to this fellow, he alone had killed a few rank 16 martial artists. Bullsh *T. Danwu Catacombs had killed a few rank 16s. How could Fan Ping not know? Rank SIXS were not cabbages. Jin Yuhuai was not old. He had not been a rank 6 for more than 5 years. 5 years killing a few rank 16s? Did he think he was stupid? Fan Ping thought as he dealt with him. As they chatted, Fan Ping's heart stirred. Jin Yuhuai knew a lot about the human world. He actually knew about Danwu Martial Arts University, knew about MC Mayu, knew about the House of Governor, knew about the Martial King, the Netherworld King. This should not be. Even Fan Ping, who was in the middle ranks, did not know much about the Apex. Jin Yuhuai actually knew about it. Titles like the Martial King and the Netherworld King were only known when one reached the higher ranks. Even if Jin Yuhuai's elders were powerhouses, as long as they were not at the true king level, they might not know. Fan Ping suddenly stared at Jin Yuhuai. Jin Yuhuai looked confused. Then, he smiled and said, "Brother Kui, what's wrong?" Fan Ping said lightly. "Just now you said the Land of Rebirth's Martial King likes to eavesdrop on secrets?" "Yes." Fan Ping's heart was in turmoil. Damn it! What was going on? An impasse powerhouse like Zhang Tao was also very prideful. Not many people knew that he liked to eavesdrop. Although many people in MC Mayu knew about it, there were not many who knew that Zhang Tao had passed it down. Only people like Fan Ping knew that old Zhang liked to do this. He only knew about it because he had frequent contact with him. More than half of the Grandmaster powerhouses did not know about this secret. Among the hundreds of Grandmasters in Sino Nation, most of them had the impression that Zhang Tao was amiable, a good minister, and a genial old man. Only some Grandmasters who had more contact with Zhang Tao knew about old Zhang's hobby. But Jin Yuhuai actually knew. Bullsh *T. There are humans who have contact with Jin Yuhuai. And it's a core figure. Evil sect? Do the evil sect martial artists know about old Zhang? Or someone else? Is there a traitor in the core? Fan Ping could not stay calm, but he smiled and said, "How did you know? The matters of these true king powerhouses are not something we can come into contact with." Jin Yuhuai coughed softly and said with a smile, "My father said so." Your father is Hibiscus City's Divine War Army's Commander-in-Chief. Fan Ping understood. His identity was almost the same as Red Alder's grandfather. Kui Luo was the Commander-in-Chief of the Imperial Guards, while Red Alder's grandfather was the Commander-in-Chief of the External Combat Troops. However, even if this guy's father was a rank 8, he should not know about these things. Did Jin Yuhuai think that he had not seen the world? If it were a normal person from the outer realm, he would not think too much about it. As a frontline martial artist fighting against the Land of Rebirth, what was there to know about these things? However, Fan Ping did not forget that just a year ago, both parties actually did not communicate with each other. At least not in the outer realm. The real communication was only recently. After the catacombs language was popularized, only then did both parties communicate. However, this kind of communication was currently limited to high-ranked martial artists. Middle and low-ranked martial artists did not grasp the language that quickly. There's something wrong with this guy. There might be a traitor in Sino Nation and Danwu Catacombs. Right, this guy traded a lot of pills before this. Even if the humans were defeated, he's just a rank 6 martial artist. Where could he get so many pills? Fan Ping did not think too much about it before, but now he felt that there was a big problem. What was the situation in Danwu Catacombs? While Fan Ping was thinking about these, Jin Yuhuai's heart was thumping hard. What's wrong? Did I say something wrong? I didn't say anything wrong, did I? I was just looking for a topic to talk about. Did something go wrong? Will I be exposed? But this guy is from the 7th Southern Territory. I'm from the 6th Southern Territory. I'm not familiar with him. He won't know anything, right? Didn't I just trade a little with the Land of Rebirth martial artists? It'll be fine, right? The land of rebirth martial artists are all poor paupers. I'm just selling some stuff. It's not considered supporting the enemy, right? Although that was what he thought, Jin Yuhai was feeling nervous. He would slip up if he said too much. Why did he say all this out of the blue? In the past few years, he had reaped a lot of benefits by trading with the resurrected martial artists. His father had more than 10 descendants, and he had a lot of siblings. Most of them were his father's children in his early years. Some of his grandchildren were even older than him. There were so many people. Although he was his father's son, the resources he got every year were very little. Helpless and coincidental, he managed to get in touch with the resurrected martial artists. He used some of the Land of Rebirth's specialties to trade in Royal City and got a lot of resources, which allowed him to quickly become an upper-stage warlord. The people in Royal City thought that he had killed the Land of Rebirth martial artists and seized them. He said that he had killed a few rank 16, and he was not bragging. This was how he reported his battle results. After all, he had never seen the resurrected martial artists he killed. In Royal City, he had made great contributions and received a lot of rewards. He was also valued by many people. That was why he had the quota to enter the restricted area this time. Otherwise, although he was the son of a rank 8 powerhouse, there were many people in Royal City who had a higher status than him. This guy doesn't seem to believe me. I shouldn't have said this. Do I have to silence him? Jin Yuhai was nervous. He had only talked about the martial king's gossip. Was there something wrong with that? Isn't this something that everyone knows? Jin Yuhai wanted to silence him. Fan Ping, on the other hand, wanted to find a chance to capture this guy and interrogate him. Something was not right. Someone in the Danwu catacombs might have colluded with the enemy. Even old Zhang's secrets were leaked. The identity of the person who colluded with the enemy might not be low. Don't let me find out who it is. Otherwise, I'm dead meat. Fan Ping thought about this and continued to chat with Jin Yuhai. Jin Yuhai also kept testing him, wanting to know if he was suspected. Both of them had ulterior motives, testing each other. Fan Ping even had his eyes on Jin Yuhai's bag. There were so many energy stones. If he killed this guy, it seemed like he could earn a lot. This guy had earned a lot by reselling pills. Chapter 726. While Fan Ping and Jin Yuhai were conversing with each other with ulterior motives. Earth. It was already late at night on the 3rd of November. Ministry of Education. As usual, old Zhang did not go home at all. He worked here day and night. If there were no important matters, the Ministry of Education was his home. He would not leave easily. On the table, the red phone rang. Zhang Tao waved his hand and the phone flew up. On the other side of the phone, someone said, "Minister, there's some trouble." "Speak." "Jin Yuhai has left the Danwu catacombs. I don't know where he is. I've contacted him secretly many times, but there's no response. Last time, he said he might go to the restricted area. Minister, I suspect he's already left." Zhang Tao frowned slightly. After a while, he said, "He went to the restricted area? I'm afraid this line is broken. Have you tried to contact other catacombs martial artists recently?" "Minister, it's too difficult. All these years, only Jin Yuhai has taken the bait. We don't dare to test the others. We were worried that people would suspect Jin Yuhai, so there hasn't been much progress. Since Jin Yuhai has left, let's try again and get through this line." "Minister, this can't be done overnight. Now that Jin Yuhai has left, we've lost too much without this line. In the past, we earned at least a few hundred caddies of energy stones every year. Now it's gone. We shouldn't have let him collect his merits. Now that he's gone to the restricted area, some of our plans are in trouble. We originally wanted him to enter the higher ranks and become a commander." Zhang Tao chuckled. "There's no rush. This kind of person doesn't care about race or country. If he achieves something in the restricted area in the future, maybe we can use him. But it's a pity that this kind of person is hard to find. It'll be hard to find a replacement. As he said that, Zhang Tao added, in that case, martial artists from other regions have entered the restricted area recently. That's good. There's a lot less middle-ranked martial artists all of a sudden. It can also reduce our pressure. Having said that, Zhang Tao continued, since Jin Yuhuai's line has been broken, then find a replacement as soon as possible. A few hundred caddies of energy stones is not a small amount. Right, the people who contacted him didn't say anything, right? No. That's good. Be careful with what you say and do to avoid trouble. Zhang Tao hung up the phone very quickly. He started calculating in his heart. Jin Yuhuai had also entered the restricted area. Would he bump into Fang Ping? Still, it was fine. That kid Fang Ping was very slippery. Jin Yuhuai did not know anything. It was just a simple transaction. Even Li Jin did not know about Fang Ping, so Jin Yuhuai would not know either. What a pity! Zhang Tao sighed. All these years, he had not planted many spies in the catacombs. Jin Yuhuai could not be considered a spy, but he was a rare talent in the catacombs. He was afraid of death, but he wanted to become stronger, so he could use his brain. After working with him for a few years, Zhang Tao had earned at least 2,000 to 3,000 kilograms of energy stones. For humans, this was an incomparably huge gain. Now that this line had been broken, it would be difficult to find another one. It's a pity that I can't get into the forbidden area. Otherwise, I would be able to contact that fellow. Perhaps, I would be able to find more clues in the forbidden area. Zhang Tao felt slightly regretful again. As for Fang Ping, he did not expect Jin Yuhuai to go to the restricted area. Otherwise, he could let Fang Ping try to contact them. However, he could not trust Jin Yuhuai. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome if he was sold. It's good that he doesn't know. Fang Ping's head is very valuable. If he knows, the possibility of Jin Yuhuai selling him out is higher. As Zhang Tao thought about this, he thought about something else. The Danwu catacombs line had been broken, but the other catacombs lines could not be broken so easily. These fellows are getting greedier and greedier. When they reach the higher ranks, they might not trade anymore. Zhang Tao felt a little regretful. High-ranked martial artists did not lack these resources. When that time came, if he wanted to trade again, the other party might not agree. It was more likely that he would sell out the person he contacted. The catacombs whelps are all insatiable wolves. It's a pity that after all these years, they haven't been able to corrupt Castellan powerhouses. Old Zhang muttered in his heart. He had not done enough. Otherwise, if they could really corrupt a few Castellan powerhouses, that would be interesting. In the forbidden area. Brother Jean, I'm planning to rely on His Royal Highness Li Lu. What are your plans? His Royal Highness Li Lu? Jin Yuhuai whispered. Brother Kui, His Royal Highness Li Lu is not very stable among the heirs to the throne. I heard that the Royal Lord, you're relying on him now. Fang Ping laughed. The more critical the situation, the better the opportunistic opportunity. If it were other people, other forces, middle-ranked martial artists like us might not be valued. That's true. Jin Yuhuai fell into deep thought. As he thought about this, he glanced at Fang Ping again and did not say anything else. The two of them probed for a long time. Jin Yuhuai was now a little suspicious. Could this fellow be the same as him? Had he also traded with the resurrected martial artists? As he thought about this, Fang Ping stood up. Jin Yuhuai was stunned for a moment. He said in a low voice, Brother Kui, I'm taking the initiative to visit to express my sincerity. Fang Ping chuckled. Sitting and waiting is not a good habit. Opportunities still need to be fought for by oneself. Jin Yuhuai was shocked. They were kindred spirits. What a good word. Opportunities still needed to be grasped by oneself. If he relied on others, he might still be lingering around rank 3 or 4. I see that Brother Kui came together with the two highnesses. Can you introduce us? Of course, no problem. Having said that, Fan Ping stared at his big bag and said with a smile, "Brother Jean, when you do things, you still need to pay a price. Moreover, carrying so many things with you can easily cause problems. You and I don't know much about the palace. If we're targeted, it won't be a good thing." Jean Yuhui felt a little pained, but he quickly smiled and said, "Don't worry. When it's done, Brother Kui will get his share." "Brother Jean, are you sure you want to come with me?" "Yes. You're right. If we want to get a bigger chance, then we need to pay more. Since no one is optimistic about His Highness Li, then we'll have more chances if we rely on him." The two of them looked at each other and did not say anything more. Fan Ping did not make much noise. He walked out of the square with Jean Yuhui. Outside the square, a group of armored warriors was standing guard. However, Fan Ping raised Li's banner and gave him some benefits. Very soon, he received news from Li and knew that he was staying at the mansion. The backyard of the mansion. Li received Fan Ping and Jean Yuhui in his temporary residence. Li leaned on the chair with a playful look on his face. He smiled and said, "Are you sure you want to follow me?" This time, many dynasties and divine sects have come. Some people from the royal territory have also come. 16 highnesses, other than me, there are 5 more. If you really want to follow me. Kui Ming, Jean Yuhui, many people have set their eyes on you today. Jean Yuhui killed many resurrected martial artists and generals in the 6 southern regions. Kui Ming, you even dared to attack a venerable. Both of you are not nobodies either. Fan Ping's expression was solemn. He said seriously, "Kui Ming knows his place. I'm just an outsider. My strength is only an upper stage general. To others, I'm not indispensable. However, His Highness is in need of help now. I feel that His Highness's place is where we belong. My father is being ostracized in Monster Sunflower City. He wants me to stand firm in the palace. However, I don't know any other big shots. That day in Monster Sunflower City, it was His Highness who gave me the fountain of life to save my life. I'm willing to sacrifice my life." Li said lightly. "Feng Mieshing also thinks highly of you. Why don't you go to him?" Fan Ping sighed softly. "His Highness Feng is a descendant of a true king. He doesn't lack subordinates. If that's the case, I'm lacking? That's not what I meant." Li suddenly laughed. "Kui Ming, you're a smart person. Since you're a smart person, I don't mind saying a few more words." Having said that, Li laughed. The battle between kings and lords is a battle of life and death. Since you want to follow me, you're going to die at any time. Have you thought it through? I'll definitely die. There's no use talking. Li had a playful look on her face. How about this? Tomorrow, everyone will choose the outsider geniuses. Feng Mieshing and Hua Yu will also choose some people. Aren't you very brave? If Feng Mieshing and the rest take a liking to you, how about you reject them and come to me? Not only that. Some of the people they choose. If you kill a few of them on the spot, I'll take you in. Fan Ping's expression changed drastically. Jean Yuhuai's face was also pale. Kill a few martial artists chosen by His Highness on the spot? That would be a serious offense. No, they might even be killed on the spot. Li laughed. Don't worry, I'll get someone to protect your lives. It's just killing a few outsider martial artists. It's nothing. If that's the case, I'll trust you even more. You've cut off your escape route. In the future, you can only work for me in the royal court. Since you're willing to die, if you don't even have the guts to do this, how can I believe that you're willing to die for me? If you don't dare, I won't make things difficult for you. You can go wherever you want. I won't kill you either. Ha ha ha, because no one will believe you. Fan Ping cursed in his heart. If I reject you, you'll probably kill me right now. This fellow was indeed sinister. They had to submit to him, and they had to hand over their names. If they killed Feng Mieshing and the rest people, with their personalities, they would definitely explode in anger. Killing them on the spot was a 100% choice. Moreover, Li might not even save them. This fellow's heart was really evil. Fang Ping struggled for a moment, and suddenly said, Your Highness, if I kill them, I don't care about my life, but my father might be implicated. If Your Highness can protect my father, I'm willing to die for Your Highness. Li was slightly moved. She paused before smiling. You're really willing to do it? I'm willing. Fang Ping's expression was solemn. He said in a low voice, Since I've come to the royal court, I want to make a name for myself. The royal court is full of danger. I'm only a warlord. How can I make a name for myself? If I don't die today, I might die a violent death tomorrow. If that's the case, I'm willing to take the risk. Before my father left, he passed his life savings to me. If I return just like that, I won't have the face to return to the 7 southern regions. My father's biggest wish is for me to become the lord of the royal court. If Your Highness can become the lord, then my choice today might be able to exchange for the position of the lord of the royal city. Ha! How brave! How bold! You're indeed a martial artist who dared to draw his saber against the venerable one. Li was all smiles. Why do you have to wait for me to become the lord? If you really dare to offend Feng Mieshing and the rest, you're strong enough. It might be difficult to become the lord of the royal city, but I can still agree to become the lord of the capital city. Don't forget, the lord of the royal city is my father! Fang Ping was overjoyed. He hurriedly bowed, beaming with joy. I won't let you down, Your Highness! Good! Li was all smiles too. She then looked at Jin Yuhuai and smiled. Jin Yuhuai, what's your choice? Jin Yuhuai almost cursed in his heart. What else can I choose? If I don't agree, I'll die right now. Damn it, didn't they say that Li was useless? This fellow is very cunning. And that fellow Kui Ming, he has caused me so much trouble. If I agree now, I'll offend the others. However, fortune comes from danger. Li is ruthless enough. There's still a chance. After all, the position of the Lord cannot be decided by one true king. It's decided by all the true kings in the true king hall, including the hall master. Although Feng Mieshing and the others had true king ancestors, they might not be recognized by the true king hall. If one could become the lord of the royal city based on their family background, then they might as well stop fighting. The descendants of the hall master were more qualified than anyone else. At the thought of this, Jin Yuhuai immediately bowed. Your subordinate is also willing to die for Your Highness. Ha! This is getting interesting. Li glanced at both of them and laughed. Both of you are still weak. In the royal city, if you don't reach high ranks, you're insignificant. However, once you reach high ranks, it'll be a different story. If both of you really make a move tomorrow, I promise to help both of you reach high ranks as soon as possible. Thank you, Your Highness. Both of them hurriedly thanked her. Li smiled but did not say anything. There's no hurry. There's still a long way to go. Tomorrow was just an appetizer. If both of them really reached high ranks, perhaps they could do something more interesting. Feng Mieshing was only a middle-stage commander. In the royal city, no one dared to kill Feng Mieshing. But what about these two? I might not accept both of them tomorrow. Perhaps it'll be better to find someone else to accept both of them. Li calculated in her heart. A wide smile appeared on her face once again. Very quickly she said, Keep an eye on both of them. Inform me of their every move. If they cross the line, behead them. Yes, Your Highness. The rank 8 powerhouse standing beside him responded and left the palace quickly. Li picked up her teacup, took a sip, and chuckled. If both of them had any ulterior motives, they would be courting death. Walking out of Li's palace, Jin Yuhuai wanted to say something but stopped himself. He looked at Fang Ping helplessly. F***ck, I'll be a fool to believe you. Fang Ping, however, did not bat an eyelid and continued walking outside. There were many high-ranked powerhouses here. There was even a rank 8 martial artist beside Li who was watching them. After walking out of the mansion, there were many people walking outside the mansion even in the middle of the night. At this moment, Fang Ping asked softly, Brother Jean, are you regretting it? A little. Fang Ping said softly. Since you've made your choice, then don't regret it. Since we're going to take a gamble, then we'll take a big gamble. Jean Yuhui sighed and did not say anything else. His expression was pessimistic. Fan Ping, on the other hand, had a half-smile on his face. He glanced sideways from the corner of his eyes. Li. Her martial arts were not up to par yet. I didn't really come to the catacombs to rely on anyone. As long as the catacombs are in chaos, I don't care how it's chaotic. Fan Ping calculated for a while. Was the mission going to be completed in advance? That would be great. He could go back in advance. He just did not know if it would delay him from earning money. Chapter 727. In the blink of an eye, the sky was bright. Central Square. The martial artists from other territories had all arrived. Thousands of people were bustling about. These people were like goods, waiting to be picked today. These people stood in the square, while a palace floated in the air. The powerhouses from the house of City Lord yesterday were all in the palace now. In the palace, almost everyone was a high-ranked martial artist. Some were rank 7, some were rank 9. At this moment, in the palace, everyone looked at each other. Someone laughed. Who's first? Your Highnesses, please go first. It's just a bunch of martial artists from other territories. Moreover, this kind of thing can't be done by just anyone. Someone chuckled. The martial artists from other territories were considered important, but they were not. It was not a big deal. Moreover, these martial artists were divided into different factions. Many of them would directly join the faction their fathers belonged to. It wasn't just a random selection. As soon as this was said, Huai Yu laughed in the crowd. Since everyone is going easy, I'll go first. After saying that, Huai Yu flew down from the palace and landed on the high platform in the middle of the square. He shouted, The Qinghua region is recruiting 30 warlord martial artists this time. The Qinghua region has 7 royal cities and 33 capital cities. Unless you're a warlord, you won't be accepted unless you've received a twice infusion of energy. If you're willing, hurry up. I'll only be waiting for a moment. These people were very straightforward. They did not mention anything about benefits. They only mentioned their requirements. Energy infusion was the same concept as human bone honing. Huai Yu's requirements were not low. Not only did he want a rank 6, he wanted a twice-honed one. Even in the catacombs, not everyone was twice-honed. Those who honed their bones once would progress slower if they did not reach a high rank. Everyone knew this very well. They also consumed more resources than others. These powerhouses were not willing to waste too many resources on them. Fang Ping was calm. Beside him, Hua Beirong seemed a little tempted. She asked in a low voice, Kui Ming, where are you going? Fang Ping smiled. Didn't someone come to recruit you last night? Since it's decided, why ask? It was not as if these powerhouses did nothing last night. Many people had come to the plaza last night. Some of the genius cultivators had been greeted in advance and stated their conditions. Huai Yu hadn't mentioned anything about remuneration, but his men had come by last night and had even laid out some conditions. Of course, it was only targeted at genius martial artists. Fang Ping was among them. Many people had offered him conditions, but there were not many on Hua Beirong's side. She was just an early-stage rank 6 martial artist. However, there were not many female martial artists. Some powerhouses had special hobbies. Female martial artists like Hua Beirong were also extremely popular. Hua Beirong blushed a little when she heard that. Last night, a few envoys had offered her conditions. The treatment was not bad. Her father was only a commander realm martial artist. He had some status in the outer domain, but here, it was nothing. If she could ride on the coattails of these people, she would have a chance of reaching the commander realm, and even the venerable realm. In the outer realms, she could forget about entering the commander realm in her entire life. Even though he had already reached level 6, level 7 was still a huge challenge. Hearing Fang Ping's words, Hua Bailong hesitated for a moment, but still said, Kui Ming, we're from the same region and the same city. Yesterday, His Highness Hua also expressed his intention to recruit you. How about? Fang Ping smiled. I have a choice. When Hua Bailong heard this, she stopped talking. Kui Ming was a genius in the outer domain, but he was nothing in the royal court. Hua Bailong did not hesitate any longer and walked toward the high platform. At this time, some martial artists in the crowd also walked forward. Hua Yu glanced at them, a hint of a smile in his eyes. The geniuses that he had his eyes on yesterday were all in his hands. As for the few who did not choose to go to the King Hua territory, he did not care. It was enough. Hua Yu was done choosing people. The number of people had already exceeded 30, but he did not care. If it was more than 30, then so be it. The extra people could be used to do odd jobs. Hua Yu had just chosen people when very soon, another person landed. This time, it was a female martial artist, also rank 8. As soon as the woman landed, she said calmly without the slightest trace of anger. The Zilio Imperial region is recruiting 30 warlords and 50 people below the warlord rank. Females are the best. All male martial artists need to undergo a second energy infusion. Below the platform, Fang Ping glanced at her. This was also a successor to the Lord. Martial artists did not care much about gender. They only cared about strength. Strength, that was the foundation. This woman was rank 8 and had a true king ancestor behind her. It was only natural that she would become the Lord's successor. If Ji Yao was capable, it would not be a problem for her to take over her father's position. In reality, the chances were not small. Each family had 2 true kings and one was a hall master. Ji Yao's strength could keep up. At rank 8, there was a high chance that she would become the lord of the Monster Life Royal Court. The Zilio Imperial region's recruitment speed was extremely fast. Soon, a large number of martial artists followed. The female martial artist on the platform glanced at them. Seeing that there were enough people, she did not waste any time and quickly moved to the side with her people. As for the martial artists under her command, she did not care if there were any who were just there to make up the numbers. If they really did not meet her requirements, they were still middle-ranked martial artists. When they arrived at the Imperial region, she could hand over some dangerous tasks to them. If they died, then so be it. At least she would have a few free laborers. In the palace, Feng Nieshin glanced at Li Yi and said lightly, Li Yi, do you want to go first or should I? Li Yi smiled. You go first. I am not in a hurry. Feng Nieshin glanced at her and laughed. He was extremely playful. Without another word, he landed on the platform and shouted, The Maple Imperial region is recruiting 50 warlords. They only want warlords. Hurry up! As soon as he said that, a large group of warlord powerhouses walked out one after another. Feng Miexing suddenly looked at Fang Ping and asked lightly, Kui Ming, what about you? Fang Ping replied calmly, Thank you for your kind intentions, Your Highness. I have already made my choice. Humph! Feng Miexing snorted coldly and ignored him. Beside him, Hua Yu and the female rank 8 were smiling. This was interesting. Feng Miexing had taken a liking to the other party, and even named him. It was a pity that he was rejected. This was a harsh slap to the face. Hua Yu sneered inwardly. He had asked someone to ask Fang Ping, but the other party did not agree. He did not care either. However, he did not name anyone. It did not matter if they came or not. Feng Miexing was the one asking for humiliation. However, a mere warlord martial artist had the guts to reject Feng Miexing in front of him. With Feng Miexing's personality, this Kui Ming fellow would be in big trouble sooner or later. At this moment, Jin Yuhuai, who was beside Fang Ping, squeezed his way over carefully. He glanced at Fang Ping, his expression conflicted. Fang Ping ignored him. After a while, everyone on Feng Miexing's side had arrived. It was only then that Lian landed lazily. She smiled faintly and said, Send 20 people. They have to be warlords. Anyone. Below the platform, Fang Ping started walking. Lian smiled and looked at Feng Miexing beside her. She said casually, I'll let you have this fellow. I'm not interested in an insensible fellow. No need. Feng Miexing's expression was cold. Lian smiled again. Up to you. If you're interested, you can take him with you any time. I was thinking of asking him to guard the door for me. With his insensible character, who knows how much trouble he will bring to me. I'll arrange for him to be sent to the Beast Palace later. The Beast Palace was a place where monsters were kept. The Monster Plant's royal court did not use monsters as mounts. However, they still kept them and killed them for a taste. Lian did not seem to care. Her gaze was fixed on Fang Ping, a faint smile in her eyes. Make your move. Feng Miexing had been too ostentatious recently. It was time for him to suffer a little. Did he really think that his father had fallen? Below the platform, Fang Ping held the Chang'ao at his waist as he walked. He was not in a hurry to get on the platform. When he reached the bottom of the platform, Fang Ping paused for a moment. He waited for other martial artists to approach him before he continued walking. After all, Lian was the Lord King's son. There were still people who relied on him. There were quite a lot of people, close to 30. Just as he was about to reach Lian, the energy fluctuations on Fang Ping's saber suddenly intensified. Lian smiled. She looked indifferent, as if she did not feel it. Beside her, Feng Miexing's expression changed slightly. He did not speak. Kagu! The next moment, Fang Ping roared. The energy on the Chang'ao was extremely powerful. There were even faint mentality fluctuations. Destroy! As soon as Fang Ping's Chang'ao appeared, he roared again and slashed in all directions. At this moment, everyone was on the platform, unguarded. There were people from Dynasty, Divine Sect, and a few royal highnesses. No one thought that anyone would dare to make a move here. However, someone dared to do so now. Thud, 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 a series of sounds of metal entering bodies rang out. Around Fang Ping, the heads of more than 10 martial artists who were initially on the platform fell instantly. Behind him, Jin Yuhuai, whose nose had been slashed by the saber, retreated hastily because he was prepared. His face was full of fear and shock. F***CK. What was going on? This guy must have killed the wrong person, right? He killed the people recruited by Feng Miexing, not the people recruited by Lian. Kui Ming! At this moment, Lian's face suddenly turned ashen. She stretched out her hand to grab Fang Ping. Feng Miexing suddenly roared with laughter, and then he instantly attacked as well. Rumble! His energy exploded. Fang Ping hurriedly jumped behind Feng Miexing and said in an unusually calm voice, Your Highness Lian, I was originally following you with sincerity. However, you were narrow-minded and insisted that I kill His Highness's subordinates in front of everyone. You even tried to kill His Highness Feng. I was willing to follow Your Highness because you are broad-minded. Since Your Highness wants me to cut off my path of retreat, then I will follow Your Highness's wishes. At this moment, Feng Miexing also laughed loudly. Lian! What a scheme! I have underestimated you. However, why didn't you think that you could compare to me? You're just a piece of trash. How dare you scheme against me at this time? You've overestimated yourself. I knew that you were up to no good and were just putting on an act. I didn't expect you to reveal your true colors so easily. What a joke! Feng Miexing was very pleased. At this moment, Hua Yu and the rest also looked at Lian. Lian did not attack again. Her expression did not change. Suddenly, she chuckled. Feng Miexing, are you trying to scheme against me? Is it fun to put on an act? Feng Miexing sneered and said, Plot against you? You're not worthy. Still trying to pretend? Do you really think that I don't know everything? I know everything about it. Including when you deliberately released the Snake King and the Longevity Sword in the 7 southern regions. Do you think that I don't know? What a joke! Kui Luo saw everything you did that day. He had already asked Kui Ming to inform me. Do you think that your scheme will succeed? Kui Ming went to your side yesterday because I wanted him to test you. Initially, I wanted Kui Ming to go to your side and understand more about the situation. I didn't expect you to expose yourself so easily. As expected, you've been acting all along. Today, I'll expose your true colors and let everyone see how ridiculous you are. Pretending to be crazy? Without strength, everything is meaningless. Ha ha ha, you're acting. You might not be the one acting. What a scheme! What a scheme! I've been thinking all this while. How could I have let Fang Ping escape when I made such thorough arrangements? So you're the one who instructed me in the dark? No, perhaps you're not qualified. Feng Yexing sneered. There was a slight commotion in the crowd. His words were too obvious. Feng Yexing said that Li had been acting all along and deliberately let Fang Ping go. However, Li did not have the confidence, strength, or capital to do so. Then, it was obvious who was the one who instructed him in the dark. Li's expression changed. She said mildly, Feng Yexing, you're useless. Don't push everything to me. Ha ha, Li, I'm useless, but you're not. You have the demeanor of the royal lord when he was young. The royal lord was also a hero of his generation. I was wondering how the royal lord's son could be so useless. Feng Yexing said coldly. The royal lord used all his strength to kill Fang Ping this time. The hatred between me and Fang Ping is as deep as the sea. I wouldn't let him go on purpose. That day, I already felt that something was wrong. You have no grudge against Fang Ping. Why did you have to kill the longevity sword? So, you were waiting for me. You've been hiding in the Imperial City for so many years. Now you want to go to the 7 southern regions. You've already made preparations. Li, no matter how many schemes you have, they're still just schemes. Do you think you can fool everyone? If you look closely, there are loopholes everywhere. Beside him, Fang Ping despised him in his heart. Loopholes, my ass! If I don't tell you, what do you, an idiot, know? Fine, the more this idiot says, the better. Isn't it just making the catacombs chaotic? That works too. Li, this fellow. Does he think that if a rank 8 keeps an eye on me, I won't be able to leak information? Idiot! Fang Ping despised him secretly. Doesn't he know that I've already sided with Feng Yexing? Of course, Fang Ping was prepared to be a double agent in advance. He would side with Feng Yexing in secret, then side with Li. To him, it made no difference who he sided with. He would not stay here for long anyway. In the end, Li insisted that he hand over the proof of his allegiance. Fang Ping thought that he might as well take the opportunity to act. Feng Yexing, this idiot, might not have believed what he said earlier. Now a rank 8 powerhouse kept an eye on him yesterday. Feng Yexing must have seen it, right? Fang Ping waited for Feng Yexing to speak for a while before saying hurriedly, Your Highness, it wasn't just me yesterday. Jin Yuhuai was there too. He also knows that Your Highness Li ordered us to kill the people you recruited. As soon as he said that, Jin Yuhuai, who was behind him, was horrified. He shouted immediately, Your Highness Feng, I didn't mean that. Before he could finish his sentence, Jin Yuhuai suddenly slashed with his sword, killing the few people beside him who were similarly retreating. After killing the other party, he immediately ran behind Feng Yexing and said loudly, Your Highness, I felt that something was wrong last night. I wanted to contact Your Highness, but Your Highness Li sent people to track us. Left with no choice, I decided to kill a few people on the spot today to show my loyalty. Fang Ping shot him a look. His desire to live was very strong. How could he do something like this? At this moment, Li's expression was ashen. It was just a small matter. He did not pay much attention to it. In the end, he was schemed against by 2 small fries? Schemed against by this idiot Feng Yexing? At this moment, Hua Yu and the rest who were standing at the side also looked surprised, looking at Li. Feng Yexing did not care about Jin Yuhuai. He sneered and said, Only those who are not capable would play such tricks. Li, I don't care about this. I only sent people to test you because I suspected you. However, you're the Lord's son. I won't hold it against you. However, now that I've returned to the palace, there are some things that I need to investigate. The palace has been at war for many years. In recent years, the land of rebirth has repeatedly gained the upper hand. This situation seems to have started more than 10 years ago. All these years, the Lord seems to not care about these things. Whether he really doesn't care about it or not, after the Lord was seriously injured, the palace fell into a disadvantageous position. There's a reason for this. Everyone froze again. Feng Mieshing's words made everyone think again. What did he mean? Did the Lord deliberately put the palace in a disadvantageous position? To show his importance? No. Everyone could not help but think about it. Perhaps it was because they were in a disadvantageous position that the palace did not launch a large-scale attack. At this moment, this rank 9 powerhouse stared at Fang Ping and the rest, saying coldly, "Your Highnesses, you can't speak carelessly. No matter what the truth is, I believe that everyone here will keep their mouths shut. But these people from the foreign domain..." Fang Ping cursed wildly in his heart. When Feng Mieshing said this, he felt very pleased. This idiot dared to say anything. However, at this time, they were in trouble. He was going to kill them to keep their mouths shut. P.S. Recommending a new book. I have a cheat classic of mountains and seas, a newcomer's new book. Brothers, please bookmark it and support it. Genius in a second. Remember this site's address. Mobile version. Chapter 728. In the Field. As this expert's words rang out, the remaining cultivators from the other regions all turned pale. Fang Ping was on high alert, ready to flee at any time. The other party was strong. He was not a weak rank 9, but an elemental path powerhouse. He even had a divine weapon. A powerhouse like this was not someone Fang Ping could handle. They were worried, but Feng Mieshing did not seem to care. He sneered. "City Lord He, why? Do you want to silence me? Why don't you just kill me too? I'm just speaking the truth. Is there a problem?" City Lord He's expression was ugly. He said in a low voice, "Your Highness, there are some things that ordinary people can say. Outsiders can say, but Your Highness must not say. As one of the heirs to the Lord and a descendant of the true king, Your Highness knows better than I do." Feng Mieshing said lightly. "Of course I know. But I didn't say anything, did I? I didn't mention any names either. City Lord He, you can't wait any longer. It's beneath your status." City Lord He frowned again. He was dissatisfied with Feng Mieshing. "Your status is different. Can you simply say something like questioning the Lord's plotting against the true King of Destiny royal court in front of everyone?" At this moment, City Lord He even had the intention to kill. Not to Feng Mieshing, but to the people from the dynasties and divine sects. Although these people were affiliated with the royal court, they were not directly under the royal court. It was easy to cause trouble. At this moment, in the sky, 4 rank 9 powerhouses from the dynasties and divine sects revealed their chi. Someone said playfully, "City Lord He, His Highness Feng was just joking. You don't have to take it seriously, right?" "Yes, yes. Although these people from the outer domain are average, many of them are descendants of God General martial artists. City Lord He is being too hasty by killing them just like that. But it's understandable. City Lord He and the Lord have fought together for many years. They have a close relationship. It's understandable for him to kill them now." These powerhouses were joking, but they were very vigilant. Their chi was bursting, accumulating strength in secret. City Lord He was the lord of the royal city at the border. The royal court had 360 God General City Lords. Not all of them were elemental path powerhouses. There were at most 100 of them. Among these 100 people, City Lord He's strength could be considered the strongest. Because of this, although there were many experts in the air, they were still very cautious, worried that City Lord He would suddenly go berserk. City Lord He did not say a word. Beside him, Another rank 9 powerhouse appeared beside Yu. The rank 8 rank 5 powerhouse who had escorted them to the 7 southern regions also stood in front of Feng Yeshing. As for Feng Extermination, a leaf appeared in his hand. Fang Ping glanced at it and thought to himself, the Maple King's mentality clone? But this way, it was a lot safer. City Lord, he saw that everyone was on high alert, and his killing intent instantly dissipated. He said indifferently, I was just trying to prevent the news from spreading. There are some things that Your Highness and I might think are a joke. However, if it were to spread to the ears of others, they might not necessarily think that it's a joke. Having said that, he looked at Fang Ping and the rest, smiling faintly. Since these people will be under Your Highness' command, then I don't have to worry about anyone spouting nonsense. However, for the sake of the Imperial Court, I still hope that everyone will be careful with their words. Feng Yeshing sneered and said nothing. He ignored City Lord He and turned to look at Li, who had not said a word. He smiled and said, Li, let's call it a day. However, today's harvest is huge. It's worth it. I hope that you can continue to be free and unfettered when you return to the Imperial City this time. Ha! Feng Yeshing laughed heartily. He looked at Yu and the rest again and laughed heartily. Everyone, I've said everything that needs to be said. Do as you see fit. If I, Feng Yeshing, want to fight, then I will do it openly. There are some sinister people who must be on guard. After saying that, Feng Yeshing leaped into the air and left immediately. Fang Ping and the rest hurriedly followed. As they did so, Fang Ping looked down. After watching for a while, Fang Ping could not help but whisper, Your Highness, those people brought all the resources to the Imperial Court. He could not hold it in any more. Feng Yeshing, you're really an idiot. Thousands of people. After killing so many people, these people brought all their belongings. How many good things are there? He did not have the right to collect them, but Feng Yeshing did. When the time came, he could just take them back after killing Feng Yeshing and make him a custodian. However, if he left just like that, would it not benefit others? Feng Yeshing's silhouette paused slightly, but he did not stop. He was the crown prince. Was he going to loot the corpses now? However, he still glanced at the rank 8 martial artist beside him from the corner of his eyes. The rank 8 powerhouse did not say much after seeing that. With a wave of his hand, he did not take the energy stones. The few divine weapons and some small bags full of energy fell into his hands instead. As for the energy stones, they were not rare items. With Feng Yeshing's status, it would be too much to plunder them. However, no one would say anything if he took some divine weapons and heavenly treasures. There were not many divine weapons. Foreign divine weapons were rare to begin with. Among the thousands of people present, there would not be more than 10 who had divine weapons. This person took 5 of them with a wave of his hand. It was not a small number. Currently, Feng Yeshing was also lacking divine weapons. That day when he led those people to fight with Fang Ping in the Imperial battleground, some of them were his direct subordinates. He was the one who gave them the divine weapons. In the end, they all benefited Fang Ping. It just so happened that he was short of money recently. Otherwise, with his previous wealth, he might not have asked his followers to take these things. After Feng Yeshing left, the others laughed for a while before leaving. Yu and the other crown princes also left quickly. When they left, they all took a deep look at Li. After these people had left, Li's face suddenly turned pale. He gritted his teeth and bellowed, Kui Ming! This despicable person! He must kill him! Li did not expect that he would be defeated by Kui Ming today. He thought that everything was under his control. He did not expect that Kui Ming had colluded with Feng Yeshing a long time ago. He had actually been tricked by a general-level martial artist. Now, with Feng Yeshing's words, news about Li would spread very quickly. Even his father would be noticed by some people, and they might even be wary of him. This was troublesome. Beside him, City Lord he frowned slightly and said in a low voice, Your Highness! You were too hasty this time. You shouldn't have let Kui Ming humiliate Feng Yeshing today. Otherwise, he would only be planting a spy at most. If Li had not insisted on Kui Ming doing this, Kui Ming might not have attacked Li's men on the spot. Then, this would not have happened. In the end, in order to humiliate Feng Mieshing, Li wanted Kui Ming to do this. Now, Feng Mieshing was the one who had the upper hand. As for the spies, they were nothing. The fight for the throne was dangerous to begin with. Which of the 16 successors did not have a few spies by their side? Li's expression changed. After a long time, he said, "Uncle He, I was too careless this time. I was too hasty. Feng Mieshing has been getting more and more arrogant lately. In the royal court, he has repeatedly instructed some people to contradict my father. I too, Feng Mieshing is not scary. The key is still King Feng." "City Lord," he sighed. "Your Highness, King Feng is the one you should be concerned about. Feng Mieshing is just a pawn. Without him, there are still others. The key is still King Feng. With King Feng around, Feng Mieshing has the confidence to be arrogant. Your Highness is still too young. No matter how arrogant Feng Mieshing is, it will not change anything. The more arrogant he is, the easier it is for others to target him and the other princes to value him." "City Lord," he sighed. Li was still too inexperienced. She did not see through him at all. What was Feng Mieshing? It did not matter if he died or not. Feng Qing was one of the successors. Now that he was dead, he was nothing. The Feng family quickly pushed out Feng Mieshing, and he became the successor of the Lord. The root of all this was King Feng. Li should have continued to endure and lay low instead of trying to suppress Feng Mieshing. Compared to the Lord, Li was too far away. "City Lord," he thought to himself. Soon, he said coldly, "This matter is nothing. The Lord is heavily injured. To protect himself, I asked you to endure. It's no big deal. Many people suspected that you were pretending. Now that you were exposed, their suspicions were cleared. As for other things, without evidence, who would dare to speak carelessly? Although the Lord is injured, there are people in the true King Hall who support the Lord. As long as the Lord does not die, everything that happened today is nothing." "City Lord," he comforted her and said, "but don't go around in the near future. Don't provoke the Lord's enemies. That Kui Ming." Li was still unwilling. "City Lord," he sneered. "He's just a small champion. Since you can't take it anymore, there's no need to. Find a chance and kill him. As long as Feng Mieshing is not present, so what if they know that you killed him? You don't have to endure too much. You are also enduring. The more people worry that you have a big plan. Since they know that you were pretending, there's no need for you to continue pretending. You are still young and have a high status. You must kill a foreign champion after being humiliated by him. Not only do you have to kill him, but you have to do it cleanly to intimidate others." Li heaved a sigh of relief after hearing City Lord He's words. Then, her face turned pale. "Kui Ming must die. And that Jin Yuhuai. Oh, and Kui Luo and Jin Yuhuai's fathers." City Lord He frowned slightly. "No way. These people are from the foreign royal city. They are also the frontline powerhouses fighting the land of rebirth. Killing them will easily attract the hostility of the foreign powerhouses. Although the foreign powerhouses belong to the palace in name. However, since 300 years ago, the passageway was locked and true kings were not allowed to enter, these people have become indifferent to the royal power. It can be seen from the way they call themselves kings. Killing their generals will easily make the foreign royal city hostile. They cannot act on their own. Unlike the palace, if these descendants die, then so be it. The restricted area is full of danger. Those who send their descendants into the restricted area are already prepared to die. Your Highness, you should bear with it. You can't always act recklessly. Some things have to be experienced." Li said respectfully. "I've learned. Thank you for your guidance, Uncle He." "City Lord," he sighed. "There's a limit to what I can do. It's a pity that the Lord was heavily injured back then. Of the two great generals on the left and right, one died and the other was injured. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. Back then, the top powerhouses of the three path of origins had surrounded Legion. The three of them were the strongest powerhouses below the true monarch realm. In the end, one of the three was killed on the spot. The Lord's origin was destroyed. The other one was lucky enough to escape, but he was also heavily injured. After so many years, his injuries had not fully healed. Otherwise, the Lord wouldn't be so weak. More than 10 years ago, the Lord's power was monstrous. Not to mention that he was about to become a true monarch. The two great generals on the left and right who were close to him were also about to become true monarchs. If he hadn't ambushed Legion back then, perhaps 3 true monarchs would have appeared today. In addition, in the True Monarch Hall, there were a group of true monarchs who supported the Lord. If the Lord became a true monarch, some true monarchs who were wavering would also change sides. Thinking of this, City Lord he sighed. Netherworld King. Martial King. Sigh. He sighed. Lee gritted her teeth and said, Father said that he fell into the Martial King's trap back then. When the Martial King broke through, he didn't show his power. But after the breakthrough, his battle strength was extremely strong, even stronger than those true monarchs in Star-subduing City. The Netherworld King was never weaker than the Martial King. At that time, there were rumors that with the guidance of Heavenly Kings subduing, the Netherworld King could break through and step onto 2 great Taos at the same time, becoming the strongest under Heavenly Kings subduing. Because of this, Father and the 2 royal uncles entered the outer region to ambush the Netherworld King. City Lord he was speechless. He naturally knew about these things. Hearing Lee's words, he also felt it was a pity. He sighed and said, We were indeed misled back then. If not for that, even if the Netherworld King broke through, as long as the Lord and the 2 great generals broke through, we wouldn't have to worry about the Netherworld King. Lee gritted her teeth again and said, And the Maple King and the others back then, shut up. City Lord he frowned slightly and scolded, not giving her a chance to continue. After looking around, City Lord he said, Your Highness, return to the Imperial City as soon as possible and break through to the Supremacy Realm. You don't have to worry about the Lord. We are still here, so nothing will happen to the Lord. In the 360 Royal City, even if some people have betrayed you, there is still a group of old people who support the Lord. They will still support you. But your Highness needs to display the ability and strength you deserve. Otherwise, it will be difficult. City Lord he reminded again. In the past, the Lord's great ambition had subdued many powerhouses. However, after the Lord's injuries, there were people who had succumbed to other people over the years. However, it had only been more than 10 years. To powerhouses, it was not a long time. The Lord was not dead either. There were still many people who had hope. As long as Lee performed outstandingly, these people might continue to support her. Remember, Lee! Lee responded. Looking at Feng Yeshing and the others who had disappeared far away, she did not say anything else. She leaped into the air and entered the palace. Under the control of a rank 8 powerhouse, the palace flew toward the Imperial City. In front. In midair. Feng Yeshing's flying speed was not considered fast. He was not in a hurry to talk to Fang Ping. Instead, he looked at the pale Jin Yuhuai with a smile. Jin Yuhuai looked terrified. He said hurriedly, Your Highness, I really do belong to Your Highness. I have long wanted to follow you. Last night, Brother Kui persuaded me to follow Li. I can't refuse your kindness. I had no choice but to follow Brother Kui to Li. Who would have thought that Li would be so ambitious? Feng Yeshing sneered. He looked at Fang Ping and said, Kui Ming, do you think he should be killed? Fang Ping hurriedly cupped his fists and said, Since Your Highness has made the decision, I dare not overstep my boundaries. Ha! Feng Yeshing laughed. Then, his expression turned cold. He shouted, I don't like this kind of thing. What should be said should be said. Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Kui Ming, you are not an innocent person. You dared to attack a venerable. Today, You even killed the Yi's subordinates in front of everyone. What I value is your audacity. As long as you don't become a true king, I won't worry about you rebelling. If you really become a true king, I probably won't be able to order you around. There's no need to put on airs. Fan Ping was a little surprised. Feng Yexing was not really stupid. He could see through some things more thoroughly. He just did not want to put on airs. In his eyes, Kui Ming was an audacious fellow. He was shrewd too. Otherwise, he would not have done what he did today. If that was the case, then there was no need for him to put on an act in front of him. He was not afraid that Kui Ming would rebel now. He was just a general-level martial artist. He had offended Li Yi. If he offended him now, then he would really be courting death. Unless this fellow reached true king level. When that time came, if he was not a true king, he would not have the ability to order a true king around. But was it possible? Feng Yexing sneered in his heart. How was it possible? Could anyone become a true monarch? Back then, there were 3 powerhouses in the royal court. Now one was dead, one was injured, and the last one was half dead. He would fall soon. More than 10 years ago, many people said that the 3 of them had hopes of becoming true kings. They were even known as potential true kings, only one step away. In the end, none of them succeeded. Feng Yexing understood. Seeing this, Fan Ping coughed softly and smiled. Your Highness is wise. I dare not hide anything from you, Your Highness. Since Jin Yuhuai has abandoned the dark side and is not under Your Highness' command, there is no benefit in killing him. I can see that his combat strength is not weak. Why don't we keep him alive? He might be useful in the future. Fan Ping felt that Jin Yuhuai could not die now. He was still planning to interrogate him about the Danwu catacombs. Now that he was dead, where could he find that traitor? Ha ha ha, alright, I won't kill him then. Feng Yexing laughed loudly and said, Kui Ming, you have done a great service this time. I have always rewarded meritorious deeds and punished mistakes. Your life gate is not sealed. When we return to the Imperial City, I will reward you with a box of Fountain of Life to help you seal your gate and become a peak warrior. Thank you, Your Highness. Fan Ping's face was full of joy. Life Essence was still helpful in sealing the life gate. The vitality that life essence nurtured was very strong. When the life gate was sealed, the vitality would seal the gate faster. A box was about 10 caddies. Fan Ping had learned about this when he was trading. These descendants of true kings were rich, richer than those fellows in Star Town. After all, these true kings still had rank 9 monster plants under their command. On top of that, I will reward you with a rank 7 divine weapon. Fan Ping was overjoyed again, bowing to thank him. A smile bloomed on his face, but on the inside, Fan Ping was very calm. This little benefit was enough to make a rank 6 martial artist cry tears of gratitude, but it was not enough for him. Besides, what was Feng Yexing's was his. It was just his left hand going to his right hand. There was nothing to be happy about. At this moment, Fan Ping was more concerned about where to go. He did not know the way, and Feng Yexing did not tell him either. He really did not know where to fly to now. Fan Ping memorized the route along the way. He memorized some landmark buildings and landmarks very deeply. He was afraid that he did not know the way out, and that would be troublesome. When he wanted to leave in the future, he did not run to Mount Imperial Sea but back to the enemy's lair. That would be asking for death. Soon, Fan Ping knew where to go. Sky Plant City! Feng Yexing said while flying. Lord Protector, the holy fruit is about to ripen soon. I won't return to the Maple Royal territory now to avoid missing the opportunity. I will go to Sky Plant City first and wait for the holy fruit to ripen before returning to the royal territory. As soon as he finished speaking, the rank 8 powerhouse beside him said, Your Highness, if you meet Her Highness Jiao again, Your Highness should restrain yourself. King Lord Jihong has broken through to True King realm. Now that the Ji family's strength has increased tremendously, Destiny Royal Court has been completely controlled by the Ji family. Feng Mieshing frowned, saying unhappily, I know. But that woman, Ji Yao, is rather hostile toward me. Feng Mieshing felt very helpless too. He wanted to marry Ji Yao, but the problem was that Ji Yao looked down on him. She was extremely hostile and contemptuous toward him. Every time they met, she would not say anything nice to him. Under such circumstances, how could he speak nicely and take the initiative to improve their relationship? At the side, Fan Ping did not say a word. He did not care about them either. Instead, he put up a finger at Jin Yuhui. Jin Yuhui's expression changed drastically. How much? 100 or 1,000? He understood what Kui Ming meant instantly. He did this action often too. It was nothing more than a fee for speaking up for him just now. The key was that Jin Yuhui was panicking inside. It was this fellow who brought him there yesterday. Today, this fellow actually showed him kindness and even wanted to collect protection fees from him. Was there any justice in this world? Chapter 729. Feng Mieshing was not in a hurry. Apart from Feng Mieshing, there was also a rank 8 5th stage powerhouse and 2 upper stage rank 7 martial artists with him. On the other hand, Fan Ping's group had quite a number of people from the outer domain too. There were more than 50 of them in total. These people were lucky to have been by Feng Mieshing's side, which was why they did not die. Up ahead, Feng Mieshing and the rank 8 powerhouse were together. At the back, Fan Ping could not stay idle. He did not come to the catacombs to be a lackey. Very quickly, Fan Ping set his sights on a rank 7 martial artist. Fan Ping increased his speed slightly, moving closer to the rank 7 martial artist's side, asking respectfully, Commander Fengyu, are we still far from the Imperial City? Maple Jade was a slightly cold-looking middle-aged man. He was still polite to Fan Ping. On one hand, Fan Ping seemed to be valued by Feng extermination. On the other hand, he was only a rank 7 martial artist. Hearing Fan Ping's question, Maple Jade said, It's quite far. 30,000 ox. Fan Ping raised his eyebrows slightly. That was not really close. The units of measurement in the catacombs and humans were slightly different. This was basic knowledge, and Fan Ping had learned it before. An arc was actually the distance a rank 7 martial artist would cover in an instant during a full-force outburst. It was about the same as 500 meters. When a martial artist reached a high rank, their speed was still extremely fast if they unleashed their full power, surpassing the speed of sound. Fan Ping had entered the middle ranks a long time ago. His speed exceeded 100 meters in a second. However, it was still the same as before. If one's speed was too fast, one's body would not be able to keep up, and it would be easy to injure oneself. 30,000 li. Fan Ping sighed in his heart. The catacombs were huge. The journey from the 7 southern regions to the Qingyang Royal City was about 7 or 8,000 miles, and now to the Imperial City was another 15,000 miles. Tens of thousands of li. Fan Ping knew the general shape of the restricted area. It was an oval shape, with a maximum diameter of more than 180,000 li. And Mount Imperial Sea was the boundary of this oval. From the border to Sky Plant City, it was tens of thousands of miles. In this way, Sky Plant City was not even in the core area of the Forbidden Zone. Based on everyone's current speed, even the weakest of them was a rank 6. If they hurried on without sleep or rest, it would take them about 3 days and 3 nights. To be able to travel 10,000 miles in a day, this was what it meant to be a martial artist. However, a rank 6 martial artist might not be able to withstand it. While Fan Ping was still deep in thought, Maple Jade continued. When we reach 10,000 Dragon City, which is the 10,000 Dragons Divine Sect's territory, we can ride dragon beasts to the Imperial City. 10,000 Dragon Divine Sect? One of the 8 great divine sects, founded by the Myriad Dragon True Monarch. The Myriad Dragon True Monarch used to be a member of the Destiny Royal Court. When he was young, he went to protect the royal court and got to know the wood dragon divine general. The wood dragon demon god and the mystical dragon demon king's descendant have a grudge against each other, so the myriad dragon true monarch and the wood dragon demon god came to the heavenly plant's royal court. Fang Ping whispered. The mystic dragon demon king is one of Destiny Royal Court's demon kings. Feng Yu smiled and said, a very powerful demon king realm expert. In the Destiny Royal Court, the Ji family is incomparably powerful. If you had answered carelessly when Her Highness Ji Yao questioned you, you wouldn't be here today. Her Highness Ji Yao's ancestor was the Lord of the Heavenly Court's true monarch palace, Lord Fate Monarch. Her father was not only the Lord of the Imperial Court, he had recently broken through to become a true monarch and was extremely powerful. The mystical dragon demon king was the guardian demon king. As long as the Ji family was the Lord of the Royal Court, the mystical dragon demon king would be the Ji family's guardian demon king. Not only that, Her Highness Ji Yao signed an agreement with Feng Quebec. Feng K is the descendant of the Phoenix King. Phoenix King? Fang Ping was a little strange. Feng Yu smiled and said, it's not the Phoenix King of Monster Phoenix City. Those kings from the outer domain are all fake kings, deceiving themselves and others. The Phoenix King is a true monarch of the demon race who guards the royal court's true monarch hall. He is extremely powerful. Now you should understand how lucky you are to be able to talk to Her Highness Ji Yao and still be alive, right? Fang Ping's face was full of fear, but he was speechless. Lucky just by talking a few words? What if I told you that I hunted that woman a few times and killed her until she almost peed her pants when she saw me? Would you believe me? But Ji Yao's background was indeed terrifying. Fang Ping had thought that there was only the Ji family. He did not expect there to be a demon king guardian. The phoenix monster she was riding on actually had a true monarch ancestor. 4 true monarchs. Besides, other than her father who had just broken through, the other true monarchs did not seem to be weak. There was no one else with such a background. The 10,000 Dragon Divine Sect has raised a group of demons. Their strength is average, but their skin is thick and their flesh is thick. When we reach the 10,000 Dragon City, we can ride monsters and head to the Imperial City. Fang Ping had not asked anything when Jin Yuhui squeezed in from the side and said with a face full of smiles, Sir, when we reach the Imperial City, is there anything Her Highness needs us to do? Although I am weak, I am willing to die for Her Highness. Feng Yu glanced at him, his face cold and indifferent. He said lightly, There will be things for you to do when we arrive. After saying that, he ignored Jin Yuhui and looked at Fang Ping again, saying with a smile, There is Prince Feng's mansion in the Imperial City. When you reach the mansion, you can cultivate in peace and break through to Peak Warlord as soon as possible. When you reach Peak Warlord, Her Highness will probably give you some treasures to help you enter the Quasi-Commander level. When that time comes, the next time Her Highness goes to the battlefield of the kings, she will probably bring you along. Whether you can enter the Commander level or not will depend on yourself. The battlefield of the kings? Fang Ping looked lost. Feng Yu smiled and said, The battlefield is at the borderland. When we leave the 7th Southern Territory, we'll follow the edge of Mount Royal Sea and fly 100,000 miles to the east. We'll reach the battlefield. Over there, you can enter the Commander level or even the Venerable level quickly. However, it is quite dangerous over there too. At this moment, Feng Mieshing, who was in front, suddenly let out a cold humph. Dangerous? There is no danger in the general territory now. Kui Ming, when the holy fruit ripens, come with me to the battlefield of the kings. When the time comes, go in and kill a guy named Jiang Chao. If you kill him, I will reward you handsomely. Fang Ping's heart skipped a beat. Was Feng Mieshing looking for trouble with Jiang Chao? As he said that, the rank 8 powerhouse said, Jiang Chao seems to be reaching the commander level soon. Your Highness, perhaps you will meet him in the commander territory next time. That bastard better not let me meet him, or else I will definitely kill him. Feng Mieshing continued. Kui Ming, the price to pay for going to the battlefield of the kings is not small. you must let me see your strength. Otherwise, you are not qualified to go to the battlefield of the kings. If he went in now, it would be considered as stuffing people in the middle of the way. It would not be that easy. However, it was also a coincidence. Previously, Sky Plant's royal court was almost wiped out. Now, there was almost no one from Sky Plant's royal court in the rank 6 region. Naturally, Sky Plant's royal court was not willing to do this. After a few rounds of discussion, a batch of places would be allocated to the royal court. If Fan Ping was only upper stage rank 6, he might not stand a chance. I will definitely do my best. Fan Ping's expression was solemn. Seeing that Feng Yexing was silent, he secretly cursed. You want to send me to the battlefield of the kings? Then you better take it easy. Ignoring him, Fan Ping continued chatting with Feng Yu. Along the way, they passed by some cities. There were powerhouses in the cities who also noticed them, but when they saw the emblem on them, they quickly retreated. The Maple King's men. Not only cities, Fan Ping also discovered war. Along the way, there were cities waging war. Feng Yexing and the rest looked like they were used to it. Feng Yu saw that Fan Ping was a little curious and said casually, "In the royal court, there are many powerhouses. Some powerhouses don't get along, causing disputes and wars. It is not strange. The royal court does not care about these. In reality, there is no way to force them. There are too many royal cities and even more capital cities. In addition, the journey is long. Even true king powerhouses need time to rush here. Based on this, as long as there is no large-scale war, then there is no need to care." At this time, another rank 7 martial artist also opened his mouth and said with a faint smile, "It is good to use up some trash. In recent years, the population has increased and the number of martial artists has increased. The consumption is too high. If this goes on, after a few thousand years, I am afraid that Divine Land will also enter a period of energy depletion. When that time comes, it will follow in the footsteps of the Land of Rebirth." Fan Ping's heart stirred again. With a calm expression, he said respectfully, "Follow in the footsteps of the Land of Rebirth, sir, you mean?" Feng Yu continued laughing. Rumor has it that back then, the ancestors of the Land of Rebirth were extremely powerful. According to the Land of Rebirth, it was in the ancient martial era. During that era, powerhouses were as common as clouds. It is not something that can be compared to now. Originally, the energy of the Land of Rebirth was also extremely abundant. However, there were too many powerhouses. When true king powerhouses cultivated for a while, it was even more earth-shattering. As the number of powerhouses increased, the energy of the Land of Rebirth gradually depleted. After that, it entered a period of decline. "The Land of Rebirth is very powerful?" Fan Ping said with a look of shock. "The royal court has 49 Lord True Kings. How can it compare to the royal court?" Feng Yu laughed. "Perhaps. After all, it is only a rumor. I am not sure about the specifics." In front, Feng Yexing interrupted again. "It is not a rumor. It is the truth. There is nothing to hide. Back then, the Land of Rebirth was indeed very powerful. I heard from the royal ancestor that the boundary land in the outland today was left behind by that group of people. Back then, because of the depletion of resources, those people discovered Divine Land. They attacked Divine Land and took root there. Divine Land was also seen by them as a breeding ground." Speaking of this, Feng Yexing sneered. "Because Divine Land has the radiant sun of life, energy is endless and resources are almost endless. This group of people coveted the land of Divine Land. Many battles broke out between us and the ancestors. However, in the end, weren't they all killed by the ancestors of Divine Land? They were completely annihilated." Fan Ping's heart rippled again. If that was the case, some of his guesses were true? Did ancient martial artists really take the initiative to attack the catacombs? However, very quickly, Feng Yexing continued. "Of course, some things are no longer clear. The specifics of the truth are also difficult to explain. There is another rumor in the royal court. Back then, the people who fought with our ancestors were not ancient martial artists. Fang Ping was stunned. Feng Miexing was a good talker. He laughed and said, "The ancient martial artists of the land of rebirth might not have left any traces in divine land at all. Those people from the land of rebirth can't be considered ancient martial artists. Some people from the land of rebirth don't understand that their martial arts era is divided into 4 eras: ancient martial arts, sex, Saturn, and neo-martial arts. In reality, there are more. According to the royal ancestor, it can be divided into at least 6 eras: beginner martial, ancient martial, apatheicized, sex, Saturn, and neo-martial arts. As for the land of rebirth, it might have nothing to do with the ancient martial arts era. It might even have nothing to do with the apatheicized era. It can only be considered as the sex era. These people can't be considered ancient martial artists. However, these are all in the past. The land of rebirth today has already declined." Feng Miexing sneered. "The land of rebirth will be ours sooner or later." Fang Ping's heart was filled with all kinds of questions. He did not speak again. In his eyes, and even in Zhang Tao's eyes, the existence of the land of rebirth was a clear proof of the ancient martial arts era. However, according to Feng Miexing, the land of rebirth had nothing to do with the ancient martial arts era. Strictly speaking, the ancient martial artists in Fang Ping's eyes were not considered ancient martial artists at all. Then, how did the real ancient martial artists die out? Fang Ping's heart was filled with questions. He fell silent for a while. Very soon, everyone arrived at a big city, Hualong City. In the city, a group of giant monsters was extremely eye-catching. These demonic beasts were the demonic beasts used for traveling. Their energy was not weak. From what Fang Ping could see, some of the monsters even had the ability of rank 8. They had a golden body. However, they did not seem to have much intelligence. They also looked rather docile. These could be considered domesticated monsters. Feng Miexing seemed to have no interest in lingering here. He tossed out nearly 100 energy stones casually, treating them as travel expenses. Then, he climbed onto the back of a rank 8 dragon beast. Fang Ping and the others followed behind him. However, Fang Ping's gaze was once again fixed on Feng Miexing. This guy seemed to have a storage equipment. No wonder he did not carry much with him earlier. Fang Ping had thought that he had left them in the palace. Now, it seemed that it was not the case. The palace seemed to belong to Li. Storage equipment, Maple King's avatar. Fang Ping muttered in his heart. Like the others, he began to wait quietly. Along the way, Fang Ping once again recorded some royal cities and capital cities that he passed by. This time, it was not only to remember the route, but also to record information. Humans knew too little about the restricted area. Previously, when Zhang Ping told Fang Ping and the others about the restricted area, he only said things like, probably, and maybe. At the same time when Fang Ping was about to reach Sky Plant City, Earth, McMao, Qin Fengqing held the phone and asked, "Fatty, can't you get me a place in the Martial King battleground?" "Baldy, this is really hard to do. Why is it hard to do? Fang Ping can't go, right? If he doesn't go, then he doesn't need this place. Can't you just give it to me?" Jiang Chao said gloomily. "It's not that simple. You can still change people." But what? Don't leave me hanging." But recently, the 2 royal houses have been discussing to let a group of people in. Too many of them died last time. Right now, the rank 6 region is almost empty. If we fight for it, maybe we can bring a group of people in. But Baldy, are you sure you want to go? If you go, you'll have to enter the rank 7 region. You're only early stage rank 7. The people over there can't wait to kill everyone in MC Mayu. If they find out that you're from MC Mayu, they'll hunt you down immediately. What's there to be afraid of? As long as there are benefits, when I go, I'll also kill until the world is turned upside down. I heard that everyone over there has a divine weapon and countless good stuff. They drink all the life essence like water. If they find any ruins, they'll absorb vitality and mentality. Their mentality will skyrocket, and they'll get benefits too. Qin Fengqing was almost drooling as he spoke. He said fiercely, "Old Wang and those bastards have been packing up recently, preparing to go there to make a fortune. If they go, how can I not go? Those guys, every time they go, they'll get a lot of benefits. Old Yao is already upper stage rank 7. Iron Head and the rest are also middle stage rank 7. Upper stage will be soon too. Say, when Iron Head reaches upper stage, won't he be like Fang Ping, rank 8 instantly? I don't want to stay in rank 7 for too long. Fatty, think of a way. Isn't your family's elder ancestor at desperation? There must be a way. Lao Wang and the others are going to the king battlefield." Jiang Chao gulped. "Where's Fang Ping?" Qin Fengqing scratched his head and said, "It's hard to say. He's probably in seclusion recently, but who knows if he'll go or not." "What's wrong?" "Baldy, a friendly reminder. Don't be with them. These fellows were public enemies." Did they know what a public enemy was? If they went, the catacombs martial artists would probably want to kill them. Especially Fang Ping, if he really dared to go. If you take it easy, it would be normal for a rank 9 to cross boundaries and kill him. Not only that, if he dared to go, it was possible that he would be intercepted and killed along the way. It would also be normal for a true king to make a move. In short, the danger was incomparably great. Following them was tantamount to following a dynamite barrel that could blow you up at any time. Anyway, I don't dare to go with them. If they want to go, you have to remind me immediately not to bump into them. Otherwise, it will be troublesome." Not only was Qin Fengqing not afraid, but he said excitedly, "That's a good thing. In that case, there's no need to look for someone, and someone will come directly to us. Baldy, you're only an early stage rank 7. Early stage rank 7, so what?" Qin Fengqing said disapprovingly. "Early stage rank 7, I'm not afraid of those fellows. Stop talking nonsense and think of a way to get me a spot. When I snatch the good stuff, I'll give you 10%. Jiang Chao was mentally exhausted. He was speechless. "I'll try asking. If it doesn't work, you can ask the martial king. His words are more useful than my elder ancestors." "Ah!" Jiang Chao had just said this when he suddenly screamed. The next moment, someone said lightly in Qin Fengqing's ear, "Ask Jiang Tao? You want to go, right?" "I agree. What does a mere spot count for?" Qin Fengqing was stunned for a moment. Then, he was overjoyed and said hurriedly, "Thank you, Senior Warlord." "No problem." Warlord's voice was indifferent. While Qin Fengqing was rejoicing, Jiang Chao was almost beaten to death. Mother *Ker, what was going on? The martial king's words were more useful than his? Who the F*** taught this bastard? He was a warlord. He was a warlord who killed the true king. He was a top-notch paragon who could even go toe-to-toe with the suppressing heavenly king. In the end, others did not question him, but he, a junior, did. There were so many true kings in the catacombs and so many human paragons. How many had killed a true king? Only the suppressing heavenly king. Now there was a second person, warlord. Juniors like Li Jin and Jiang Tao could stand shoulder to shoulder with him, warlord. Star Town. Jiang Chao's head was completely swollen like a pig's. His face was full of sorrow. What was going on? Why was the elder ancestor eavesdropping too? Was he not recuperating in the city? Was it appropriate for him to not forget to eavesdrop while recuperating? Warlord ignored him. Warlord, who was not guarding Mount Royalcy, was no different from an ordinary middle-aged man. He sat cross-legged on a chair and thought for a long time. Suddenly, he said, "These guys are going to the battleground of the martial kings. Ask Jiang how to come back. If they go, how can Fang Ping not go? If they all go, it will be even more troublesome. Fang Ping is a troublemaker. Fatty, don't get involved with them. Jiang Tao, that guy, actually asked me to guard 7 Southern Territory. He must have predicted that MC Mayu will cause trouble. Next time, when you enter the catacombs and meet these guys, leave immediately. Don't follow them like idiots. Zhang Tao and Li Jin, these two jinxes, had many companions in the past. In the end, these two became paragons, and most of their companions died. Only that widow, Nan Yunwei, has a tough life and did not die. But her man was also cursed to death by this woman. Jiang Chao no longer felt pain at this time. He said with a face full of gossip, "Elder Ancestor, I heard that Mayor Nan and the 2 ministers have something going on. Is that true?" Warlord chuckled. "It's hard to say. Back then, these 3 often hung out together. Nan Yunwei was the oldest. But they're martial artists. A gap of 10 years is nothing. Li Jin was a snitch back then. He didn't know shit and only knew to hang out with Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao, on the other hand, was full of evil tricks. Women love bad guys. I heard that Nan Yunwei and Zhang Tao were flirting with each other. Their relationship was very complicated. In the end, Zhang Tao wasn't a good guy. He played with other people's feelings and found a new lover. Not long after, they got married, Elder Ancestor." Jiang Chao asked suspiciously. "King Wu and the others weren't strong back then, right? How do you know so much?" Warlord snorted and said mildly, "What do you know? Although these fellows weren't strong back then, that was only relatively speaking. They were about the same as Fan Ping's group back then. They were also cranes among chickens. Especially that Zhang Tao guy. There's something wrong with this guy. Who killed that monster plant back then? Until now, we still haven't found out. If he picked it up, then so be it. This guy carried the rank 9 monster plant's brain and heart core, carried a few hundred caddies of life essence, and traversed through the mountains and ridges. Mother asterisk cur, he didn't even encounter a single monster." Warlord cursed, cursing. "If it's middle and low-ranked monsters, then it's fine. They don't have any intelligence. They sensed the aura of the fallen demons and didn't dare to come close. That's normal. But he carried so much life essence and the brain core, but he didn't encounter a single high-ranked demon. That's not normal." Jiang Chao asked curiously, "Where did the martial king pick it up back then? Can he still pick it up now?" Warlord's expression darkened. "Pick it up, my ass!" Did he really think that rank 9 monster plants were cabbages that could be picked up just like that? "I picked it up in the North Lake catacombs. If you want to die, you can go and pick it up." Having said that, Warlord added, "Fatty, don't think about these useless things. Breaking through to rank 7 as soon as possible is the right thing to do. What a disgrace! Zhang Tao's grandson has been rank 7 for a few years now. You're still F** King rank 6 now." Jiang Chao was mentally exhausted. "I'm going to be there soon, okay?" Warlord ignored him and continued, "As a human's top desperate realm, I'm ranked in the top 3. I'm not considered strong. You guys have to work hard too. It's best if you're like old Devilly. Now that your family has Li Jin, your father has to have a paragon too. Your grandfather is useless." Outside the door, Jiang Yuanhua did not say a word. He pretended not to hear anything. At this time, Jiang Chao said, "Elder Ancestor, the Qin family suddenly has a few more rank 9s. The Qin family's second grandmaster has entered the top 10 of the rank 9 ranking. The Qin family was not as good as us in the past. Our family has too few people, right? In my grandfather's generation, he's the only male. There's also a grandaunt. In my father's generation, he's the only one. Until now, he hasn't reached rank 7. I'm about to surpass him. When it comes to my side, there are only freaks following me. Elder Ancestor, how many did you have back then?" Hearing that, Warlord sighed a little and said, "I, the Elder Ancestor, lost because I can't have as many children as them. I only had one back then. A few years ago, he died in battle too." Sigh. "Unlike old Devilly and the rest, they have a big nest in a lifetime like pigs. It's fine if you say that I don't have many children, but my children are also few. Mother****, each generation is worse than the previous one. Your father is considered lucky. He even had 2 children, and they're both male. The other generations are all single children. You're saying that our second Grandmaster died in battle? Yes. Warlord sighed and said, You don't say. My son, your second Grandmaster, is not weak. He's also walked the origin path. He's not weaker than old Devil Chen's son. It's just that his brain isn't that good. Jiang Chao waited for him to continue. In the end, the elder ancestor stopped talking. Jiang Chao said helplessly, Then what about the 3rd and 4th generation elder ancestors? Your 3rd Grandmaster died in the battlefield 100 years ago. The 4th Grandmaster's brain isn't that good either. 90 years ago, the catacombs invaded en masse. A war broke out at the summit. I told him to run, but he didn't. He insisted on guarding the passageway. In the end, he was also killed. Warlord sighed, a little wistfully, and said, These fellows are all stupid. Your brother is the same. His brain isn't enough. He only knows how to fight and fight. He'll die sooner or later. Fatty, you're still the more reliable one. It's good to be afraid of death. If you're afraid of death, you won't die so easily. I think highly of you because you're afraid of death. Don't learn from your ancestors, only knowing how to fight. Jiang Chao looked embarrassed. What are you saying? Besides, I heard that you also like to fight people directly. Isn't that just like you? If that's the case, there are only the 5 of us in the Jiang family? Warlord said proudly. The 5 of us are more than enough to support their entire family. Having said that, Warlord's face lit up. He grinned and said, Fatty, cultivate well. Quickly reach rank 7. It's best if you reach rank 8. The elder ancestor hasn't been fooling around all these years. There are some things that the elder ancestor has also grasped some clues. When you reach rank 8, the elder ancestor will gift you a great opportunity. You'll be able to advance your golden body 5th stage or even 6th stage to rank 9 directly. Jiang Chao's eyes lit up instantly. Was this for real? Warlord grinned. Don't look at me. Would the elder ancestor lie to you? Wang Jinyang and the rest may be improving fast now and are stronger than you, but when the time comes, that may not be the case. Elder ancestor, can't you give it to me now? Nonsense. You're not strong enough. Who cares about you? Warlord chuckled. Don't rush. It'll happen sooner or later. Cultivate well. It's not easy for the elder ancestor to handle a rank 7 who mainly cultivates mentality. However, this matter has fallen on Fang Ping's shoulders. That kid owes me a few favors, so he has to pay me back. When he gets rid of that big sunflower in Monster Sunflower City and gets more sunflower seeds, the elder ancestor will ask for some and send you to rank 8. After rank 8, you'll go straight to rank 9. After that, the origin path, that'll depend on you. How far you can go depends on your luck. Warlord did not continue. After that, he said, I'll be going to 7 Southern Territory in a few days. Remember what I said. Stay away from Fan Ping and the rest. They're all jinxes. Wherever you go, you'll be jinxed. Until now, only a few of your relatives have died. That shouldn't be the case. Maybe they're all jinxes. They can't jinx each other. People like you who aren't tough enough will be jinxed to death immediately if you get involved. Do you understand? Jiang Chao nodded hurriedly. He understood. He would definitely not court death. Outside the door, Jiang Yuanhua did not say a word. He felt helpless and tired. The elder ancestor was a desperate realm powerhouse. Why did he teach these things every time he came back? He could talk about martial arts when he was free. He kept saying this was his jinx, that was Destiny's Child, that was Black Widow, that was a jinx. Was the elder ancestor a fortune-teller in the past? Chapter 730. The Catacombs. This time, there was more than one beast on the road. More than 50 people rented 3 beasts in total. The high ranks used 1 beast, while Fan Ping and the rest shared 2. At this moment, Fan Ping looked at Jin Yuhuai with a smile. Jin Yuhuai looked conflicted. After a while, he said, 100? Do you think your life is only worth that much? Brother Kui! Jin Yuhuai was very depressed. He said sullenly, Last night you. Fan Ping smiled. I didn't force Brother Kui to go, did I? 1,000 is too much. 10,000. Jin Yuhuai's face turned purple. He said in a muffled voice, Brother Kui, you must be joking. Even if you sold me, I'm not worth this price. 100 life stones are enough to kill a few warlord martial artists. As he said that, Jin Yuhuai said painfully, I think I have some value. 1,000. However, these life stones are difficult to carry. I'll convert them into 10-11 pills for Brother Kui. Fan Ping's smile was murderous. You're so funny. Do you think I'm a fool? How much are 10-11 pills worth? 50 million. How much are 1,000 caddies worth? 300 billion. How dare you equate these two people with me? The difference in value is 6,000 times. You must be joking. Fan Ping snorted softly, obviously displeased. Jin Yuhuai said dryly, Since Brother Kui is from Monster Sunflower City, I'm afraid you have some understanding of the situation in the land of rebirth. To be honest, 100 life stones in exchange for 111 pills might be a little expensive, but 50 is definitely worth it. Brother Kui, if you've had experience, you should know this. Although he said that, Jin Yuhuai was cursing in his heart. What's with your expression? 11 pills are good stuff too. I'll have to pay 5 life stones for one if I exchange it. Isn't it just 10 times more than you? You think it's expensive? If Fan Ping knew how black-hearted old Zhang was, his jaw would probably drop. 111 pill for 5 caddies of energy stones? 5 million for one. 5 billion? Sure enough, monopoly business was the most profitable in this world. At this moment, although Fan Ping did not know this, he would not be cheated by Jin Yuhuai. He said straightforwardly, I don't need those. I use them for cultivation, not for collection. I saw that you bought quite a lot of good stuff before. That kind of moon jade radish is beneficial to the undying god. Just give me 10 boxes. Jin Yuhuai was stunned. Who did I meet? 10 boxes? You measure it by the box? This was calculated by drops. Blue moon radish was not a flower, nor was it a grass. It was a type of demonic plant. After absorbing energy for a long period of time, it would produce a liquid similar to the essence of life. A single drop was worth 10 life stones. In the catacombs, the life stone was the most worthless item. There should be 1,000 drops in one box, right? Did Kui Ming really think he was an idiot? 100,000 life stones. At this moment, Jin Yuhuai wished that he could distance himself from the other party. He quickly laughed dryly and said, Brother Kui, please don't joke around. Besides, I also need the moon flower for my cultivation. I'll give you the life stone. No, I only want moon flower. Fan Ping's expression was indifferent. I'm not interested in energy stones anymore. It was only 500 kilograms of energy stones. Although the moonflower radish's value might not be comparable to the energy stones, the key point was that he needed this kind of good stuff more than the common energy stones. The effect of 1 drop of the moonflower radish was at least comparable to the divine fruit. The divine fruit was not expensive. It was only 500 million in the human world. However, the key point was that the moonflower was effective even at rank 7. It was slightly stronger than the divine fruit. Its value was at least double. Even if it was not as good as 10 kilograms of energy stones, the key point was that it was more helpful to cultivation. Jin Yuhuai's expression was slightly ugly. He quickly put on a smile and said, I'm afraid I don't have enough moonflower radish. How about this? I'll give Brother Kui 30 drops of moonflower radish and use the rest of the life stones. No need. You can exchange the rest for other treasures. Jin Yuhuai cursed countless times in his heart. However, he was now living under someone else's roof. Kui Ming was valued by Feng Miexing, and he was still a criminal. So many people had been killed previously. It was obvious how evil these restricted martial artists were. It did not matter if one of them died. He dared not gamble with his life. Without further ado, Jin Yuhuai quickly passed some items to Fan Ping. A small bottle of moonflower radish and some other treasures that were helpful for middle-ranked cultivation. Fan Ping put the items into his animal skin bag. In the catacombs, where there was no storage equipment, animal skin bags were the best choice. Especially high-ranked animal skin bags. Not only could they prevent energy leakage, but they would also not break easily. Fan Ping put the items into his bag. He glanced at the items in the bag, his heart filled with joy. There were a lot of things. The catacombs was indeed a land of treasures, especially in the restricted areas. After meeting so many people, there were even more good things. Middle-ranked cultivation, other than the sealed Sanjiao Gate, there were no specially targeted treasures. All other ranks had them. Early stage rank 4 and middle stage cultivated the Celestial Bridge. This required a large amount of energy. Upper stage rank 4 to middle stage rank 5 honed the vital organs. There were also specially targeted honing treasures. The 100 honing fruit was a good example. Upper stage rank 5 reshaped the meridians. This also had the meridian molding flower. Peak rank 5 reshaped the flesh. This also had a specialized item. Fan Ping did not find it in the Magic City catacombs before, but this time he did. Rank 6 cultivated mentality. This meant that there were even more treasures. Before I leave this time, I have to think of a way to exchange all my energy liquids for treasures like this. Fan Ping calculated in his heart. In the catacombs, especially in the Imperial City, there would definitely be shops that sold and traded like this. Fan Ping did not care for energy stones and energy liquids. However, he lacked special treasures. On MC Meiyu's side, there were almost 2,000 middle-ranked martial artists, instructors, and students. However, when these people reached the middle ranks, it was still fine for middle stage rank 4. After they reached the middle stage, it would be difficult for them to improve. When I go back, that girl Fan Yuan, should I help her transform? Fan Ping had another plan in his heart. Fan Yuan was only rank 2 now. It was not that she could not improve quickly, but Fan Ping was unwilling. If he was willing, life essence was the best thing. Combined with the imperishable substance, it could directly let Fan Yuan be reborn. Honing her bones was not difficult. Fan Ping was confident that he could help her finish honing her bones quickly. After that, building the Celestial Bridge, honing the internal organs, and even sealing the Sanjiao Gate, as well as enhancing mentality. If Fan Ping was willing to spend money now, it would not be difficult for him to spend a rank 7. Of course, if that was the case, Fan Yuan would really be a useless rank 7. Let's not talk about Fan Yuan. Bring more good stuff back. MC Meiyu just needs more grandmasters. Nowadays, there were many rank 6 instructors in MC Meiyu. Fan Ping did not know if Chen Zhenhua and the other deans had achieved a breakthrough. If they had, there would be almost 20 grandmasters in MC Meiyu. There's also Chen Yinqi. When I go back this time, I don't know if she can achieve rank 6. If she can, I can directly seal the Sanjiao Gate and help her achieve grandmaster. Fan Ping calculated how many people his good stuff could help improve. He wondered if he should just eat all the sunflower seeds and be done with it. The sunflower seeds were still helpful to him. If he ate 100 of them, he should be able to increase his mentality by a few hundred hertz. Fan Ping took a look at his stats again. Wealth, 380 million points. Vitality, 64,300 calories, 64,319 calories. Mentality, 3,370 hertz, 3,372 hertz. Destruction power, 24 yuan, 24 yuan. Bones honed, 206 bones, 100%. Storage space, 1,000 cubic meters, plus energy shield, 1 point/minute, plus aura simulation, 10 points/minute, plus. Compared to before he entered the restricted area, his wealth had increased by another 20 million points. 200 billion. The value of the things Jin Yuhui gave him was not as high as 1,000 caddies of energy stones. Fan Ping suddenly had an idea. Maybe he could do some reselling again. Energy stones in the catacombs were not as valuable as natural treasures. He might be able to sell some natural treasures in exchange for a large number of energy stones, then use the energy stones to buy natural treasures. Maybe he would lose some energy stones, but his wealth should increase. Thinking of this, Fan Ping suddenly took out the things and handed them to the shocked Jin Yuhui. "Give me 1,000 life stones!" Jin Yuhui was stunned. "I wanted to give them just now, but you don't want them." Although he did not know what was wrong with Kui Ming, Jin Yuhui still took out a large pile of energy stones and handed them to Fan Ping. Fan Ping received the energy stones and waited for a while. After a long time, he handed the energy stones to Jin Yuhui and said, "It's a fair trade. I'll use the life stones to exchange for these natural treasures." Having said that, he took back all the treasures he had just given away. Jin Yuhui was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. "You're playing me? Fine. You're good. I, Jin Yuhui, have not been played like this for a long time. This is too much." Fan Ping could not be bothered with him. He took a look at the data again and smiled. Not bad. His wealth had increased. It was close to 390 million. It was slightly off, but not by much. Thong Extermination also promised 10 caddies of life essence, a rank 7 divine weapon. The life essence system values it at 5 million per gram. 1 caddy is worth 2.5 billion. 10 caddies is also 25 billion. Including the divine weapon, it's close to 40 billion. Fan Ping calculated. It was less than 4 million wealth points. It was not considered a lot of money. At this moment, Fan Ping had set his sights very high. He did not really care if it was less than 100 billion. Unbeknownst to him, on the ground, Zhang Tao, who had lost a few hundred caddies of energy stones every year because of Jin Yuhui's broken connection, was feeling the pinch for a few days. The dragon beasts, which were comparable to rank 8 monsters, were still extremely fast. For a day and a night, these monsters did not show any signs of their bodies collapsing when they flew. Very soon, an incomparably huge crystal city came into view. So big! Fan Ping was shocked. This was the biggest city he had ever seen. It was squarish and extremely standard. It was surrounded by huge and thick city walls, which were also like crystals. The city walls were at least 50 meters tall and shockingly thick, more than 20 meters too. Although this kind of city wall is majestic, it's not very useful to martial artists, right? Fan Ping criticized in his heart. Although it looked awesome, it was not very useful. However, Fan Ping soon discovered a problem. On the crystal city wall, many green plants were coiled around. Fan Ping glanced at it from the corner of his eyes, and his expression changed slightly. There were mentality fluctuations. It was a monster plant, and a high-ranked one at that. Not just one, but many. They were all rooted near the city wall. High-ranked martial artists might be able to cross the city wall, but middle-ranked martial artists could not fly too high. If they wanted to cross the city wall, only death awaited them. I don't think it's enough. If the Imperial City is really attacked, defending against middle-ranked martial artists would be useless. Fan Ping continued to observe from the sky. For a moment, he was not sure if Sky Plant City had weapons or other means to defend against high-ranked martial artists. The squarish city wall was very long. Fan Ping looked at the sides, and it was probably no less than 200,000 meters. 200 kilometers, it was almost impossible to see the border. A square with a circumference of 200,000 meters. 40,000 square kilometers? Fan Ping roughly calculated and could not help but be shocked. This was a big city, a core city, and it did not include some of the surrounding areas. It was equivalent to the area of the human world's urban area. Capital City was considered a big city in the human world. The area under its jurisdiction was more than 5,000 square kilometers, but the urban area was only about 1,400 square kilometers. Sky Plant City was nearly 30 times bigger than Capital City's urban area. At this moment, Fang Ping and the others had not arrived yet. The dragon beasts had just flown outside the city when they suddenly growled and circled around, unwilling to enter the city. In front, where Feng Mieshing was, he let out a soft humph and said, "Descend!" Very soon, the three monsters flew toward the area outside the city wall. There seemed to be many monsters there. Fang Ping even saw other dragon beasts. It looked like an airport. The monsters descended. Feng Mieshing stood on the beast's head with his hands behind his back. He looked at the huge city wall and said slowly, "Sky Plant City's bad thing is that it forbids flying. Every time I come here, I have to walk for a long time. It's a pity that if I'm not a true king, I can't cross it. But if I become a lord, I won't have to worry about it." At this moment, Feng Mieshing's eyes were full of ambition. In Sky Plant City, flying was not allowed. However, true kings were not allowed. Lords were not allowed. In other words, in the huge royal court, only 50 people could use flight step in Sky Plant City. It was a symbol of identity, a symbol of status. It was too difficult to become a true king. Feng Mieshing felt that there was no hope for him. However, becoming a lord was not impossible. If he became a lord, there would be hope for a true king. Therefore, he had to become a lord. "Greetings, Your Highness." As soon as Feng Mieshing landed, dozens of armored martial artists in the airport knelt on one knee and greeted him loudly. "Dispense with the formalities." Feng Mieshing responded mildly and jumped down from the monster. The others followed suit. Fang Ping looked around. There were many people in the airport. There were martial artists who had just returned, and there were martial artists who were about to leave on monsters. There was also a group of military martial artists who looked extremely elite patrolling. So powerful! Fang Ping's heart froze. Excluding Feng Mieshing and the others, he sensed more than 10 high-ranked martial artists in the small airport. There was even a rank 9 powerhouse. Feng Mieshing ignored Fang Ping and the others. He jumped down from the monster and looked around. Looking at the armored martial artists, he asked mildly, "Is Li back?" "Her Highness Li has returned. She's back quite fast." Feng Mieshing sneered and said, "Besides Li, who else came to the Imperial City?" The armored martial artist knew who he was asking about. He answered immediately, "Bingwei Yangxing. Her Highnesses are all here. You're all quite fast." Feng Mieshing smiled and did not ask further. He looked at Fang Ping and the others and said, "Let's go. Enter the city." Having said that, he walked along the crystal path and headed straight for the gigantic city gate not far away. There were originally people queuing at the city gate. Feng Mieshing ignored them and walked straight to the main gate. Those who were queuing, on the other hand, were queuing at the side doors. At this moment, Feng Yu came to Fang Ping and the others and said in a low voice, "There are only 4 city gates in the Imperial City. Only high-ranked martial artists or martial artists of noble status can use the main gate. Others can't pass through. Remember, if you're not with Her Highness or without a high-ranked martial artist leading you, you must not use the main gate. Otherwise, the Tianji military will kill you." The Tianji military guards the Imperial City. There are many powerhouses. Moreover, many of them have fought with the Land of Rebirth. Not only did these people fight with the Rebirth martial artists, but some of them have also fought with the Destiny Royal Court, including annihilating some demons, purging some sects, killing some wanted powerhouses. These were all done by the Tianji military. As he spoke, Feng Mieshing, who was in front, said lightly, "The Tianji military is strong, but the Tianji military was strong 15 years ago. Left and right god generals, 1 dead and 1 injured. The current Tianji military, hee." Feng Mieshing looked slightly disdainful. Back then, the Tianji military was incomparably powerful, sweeping across the restricted area. 300,000 Tianji military, 10,000 in one army, 1 god general in one army. 30 god generals, all of them elemental Tao powerhouses. 100,000 in one army, 3 supreme powerhouses leading the army. Left and right god generals each led an army, and the Tianji King Lord personally led an army. 33 elemental Tao powerhouses, 3 true kings at hand. At that time, other than the Hall of True Kings that could not be destroyed, what else could not be destroyed? Even if it was the divine sect or dynasty, as long as the true kings did not appear, the Tianji military would destroy them directly. And the kind that would be easy. However, since the King Lord was defeated that year, the Tianji military was almost crippled. More than half of the 30 elemental Tao powerhouses had now surrendered to the various true kings. Although the right god general was not dead, he could barely maintain the Tianji military to protect the imperial city. Feng Mieshing had just finished speaking when someone on the city wall suddenly said lightly, "Your Highness Feng, since you look down on the Tianji military, why don't you let the Tianji military compete with the royal army?" Feng Mieshing did not even raise his head, sneering. "Sure, the King Lord will personally lead the royal army. You guys go, I won't stop you." As soon as he said that, the golden armored powerhouse on the top fell silent instantly. Even if he could not see his expression under the mask, Fan Ping knew that the other party was probably furious. There was no other reason, his killing intent was too heavy. Feng Yu, on the other hand, transmitted his voice to Fan Ping and the rest. "The left god general's son is now leading the left division of the Tianji military. The Tianji military has 3 major armies. The central army is still led by the King Lord, and the right army is led by the right god general. The left division is led by his eldest son because the left god general died in battle. He has just entered godhood, and many people are not convinced by him. This person is extremely hostile to the Maple Lord's bloodline. Everyone, remember this." Feng Yu did not say why he was hostile. There was no other reason. Back then, when the left god general died in battle, the Maple Lord and the rest had entangled the group of true kings at the top of the human world. In the end, they said that they could not save them and could not escape. It was fine if the King Lord and the rest did not die, but the left god general died in battle. Naturally, his son was extremely hostile to the Maple Lord's bloodline. The so-called godhood was what humans called the elemental Tao. It was naturally extremely difficult for martial artists who had just entered elemental Tao to lead a division. In front, Feng Mieshing went straight through the city gate, completely ignoring the divine general on the city wall. Feng Yu continued, "We have never been on good terms with the Tianji military. Everyone, remember this. Also, if any of you can reach the divine general realm, you will be put in an important position in the Maple Monarch District. Now, the Maple Monarch District does not lack commanders or supremacies, but it is extremely lacking in divine general level combat power. The Feng Royal Army is the army under Lord Feng Monarch. It also has 300,000 people and countless powerhouses. Originally, it was led by Divine General Fengjio's city, and the other 2 divine generals each led a division." Feng Yu paused as if he felt that he had said too much. He quickly changed the topic and said, "In short, after becoming a divine general, everyone has the hope of leading a division. Your status will be much higher than the Monarch City Lord. In the Maple Monarch District, even the Monarch City has to be restrained by the Feng Royal Army. If anyone dares to disobey, the Feng Royal Army will kill them wherever they go." When Feng Yu spoke, there was a sense of yearning in his voice. The Feng Royal Army originally had 3 divine general-level powerhouses. No, they used to have more. However, over the years, there were fewer and fewer of them. Until recently, they disappeared all of a sudden. The powerful Feng Royal Army, which could suppress the Monarch City in the past, was now completely crippled. Feng Mieshing laughed at the Tianji military. But he did not know that the Feng Royal Army was also the target of many people's jokes. What a joke! There was not a single divine general in the army directly under the Feng royal army. The last 3 divine generals were all dead. Of the remaining 3 divine generals under the Feng royal army, 2 were now the monarch city lord, and 1 was on standby in the true king hall. It was extremely awkward. Not only the Feng royal army, but also the Hawaii royal army. These 2 true kings were too tragic to look at. There was one who was slightly better, the Pine King. Fan Ping saw the owner of the small pine tree in the Tian'an catacombs, the Pine King. He also had many powerhouses under him killed or injured. During the trip to the virtual mausoleum Grotto Heaven, a few divine generals had died. These 3 true kings were currently in a miserable state. And these 3 miserable true kings were all related to Fan Ping. As they spoke, everyone had already entered the imperial city. As soon as they entered the city, Fan Ping felt the people and the hustle and bustle. On Crystal Avenue, people were everywhere. They were all dressed luxuriously, and their auras were extraordinary. Here, Fan Ping almost did not see many low-ranked martial artists. Ordinary people were even fewer. Most of the people were middle-ranked, and there were a few high-ranked martial artists mixed in. Feng Miexing did not ride in a horse carriage either. Fan Ping saw something that looked like a horse carriage. Instead, he walked directly toward the central area of the imperial city. When he walked, he was also charging forward, completely ignoring whether there were people in front of him. He was very arrogant and domineering. Fan Ping's group, on the other hand, looked around like country bumpkins. There were many shops on both sides of Crystal Avenue. Fan Ping, the illiterate, felt a little helpless. There were many places that he did not know what to do at all. For example, there were a few female martial artists on the 2nd floor of the Crystal Tower smiling at the pedestrians below. What were they doing? Fan Ping stared for a while. Beside him, Jin Yuhui said in a low voice with a smile on his face, "I didn't expect Brother Kui to like this kind of thing. When Brother has settled down in the Imperial City, I'll come with Brother Kui again. But this Jade Lunar Tower is just a rundown place at the foot of the city wall. When Brother has settled down, ask the others and see if they can find a better place." Fan Ping glanced at him, smiled, and said nothing. "Are you asking me to do something bad? I'm not that kind of person. Do you think I'm looking at women? What a joke. I'm just looking at the words. I've already guessed what kind of place it is. It's just that I don't know how to read. Now it's great I know 3 words. P.S. Chinyuchi's birthday event has started. Brothers, please participate in the event. Enter the event page and click on the blessing words. It needs 16,000 people's blessings. There are still a lot left free. Chapter 731. Saturday. Sun City No. 1 High School, Year 12 for classroom. Fan Ping spent half an hour before he finally confirmed one thing. It was not a dream, and it was not a movie. Of course it was. If filming could restore his classmates' youth, then the production team would be invincible. After confirming the fact that he had been reborn, Fan Ping hesitated for a moment before accepting it calmly. As one of the 5 poisons youths of the new era, who did not have rebirth experience. Even if he had not been reborn, there were plenty of them on the internet. Just by looking at them, he would know that this was the ultimate weapon of the short, weak, and poor against the tall, rich, and handsome. Moreover, he had neither money nor girls. He could live a few more years without doing anything after being reborn. It was not a loss no matter how he looked at it. It was not easy for her to endure until the bell rang. The familiar yet somewhat unfamiliar teacher dragged on for a few minutes before reluctantly leaving. As for what the teacher said before he left, Fan Ping treated it as if he had misheard it. Registration for martial sciences starts next week. Students with ideas, please prepare yourselves. Fan Ping did not think much of it. He had heard it as social sciences registration. Gaokao registration was done in advance, but the school usually did it for them. There was no need to remind them. The most important thing was that Year 12, for, was a science class. It had nothing to do with social sciences, right? However, since he had been reborn, Fan Ping did not care about such trivial matters. Right now, Fan Ping was thinking of punching Jack Ma and kicking Ma Huareng. Even though it was late in the year 08, would a reborn be called a reborn if he did not do something unexpected? Or should he switch to politics instead of business? Fan Ping calculated in his heart, not in the mood to chat with the students around him. These youngsters could not imagine the grand goal in his mind. From today onwards, they were not in the same world. Just as Fan Ping was working on his future plans, the tall and burly Yang Jian in the front row suddenly turned his head and asked, "Fan Ping, Chen Fan, are you guys registering?" Fan Ping had a deep impression of Yang Jian, not because he was handsome. The key was that when Fan Ping and the others had a high school reunion after graduation, Yang Jian, who had just graduated, had grown a full beard. Fan Ping almost thought that Yang Jian's father had come to the reunion as well. After that, Fan Ping had never forgotten this bearded classmate. His features were too obvious. Fan Ping's mind was preoccupied with other matters, so he did not think to reply. Chen Fan, Fan Ping's desk mate and one of the members of the ordinary duo, shook his head and said, "I'm not signing up. It's just a waste of money. It costs 10,000 just to register, and I'm sure I won't be able to get in. With this much money, I'll be able to cover a year's worth of living expenses and tuition fees." Yang Jian sighed and said, "That's true. However, I still feel somewhat dissatisfied. If I don't try, I might regret it for the rest of my life." Yang Jian's desk mate was also a boy. Fan Ping could not remember his name clearly. He turned his head and joined the discussion, his expression downcast as he said, "This is our only chance to make a great leap. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with us." The three of them sighed and lamented at the same time. Fan Ping was confused and baffled. Sign up? The liberal arts registration mentioned by the teacher just now? The registration fee was 10,000 yuan? This was 2008. If memory served him right, the price of a house in Sun City was only about 4,000 per square meter. How much did the exam registration cost? Are these guys wrong? Or have they been scammed? Fan Ping was just about to interrupt and ask when his desk mate, Chen Fan, pushed his glasses up and said with a determined expression, "Even if we don't take the martial sciences exam and take the liberal arts exam, we might still be able to make a name for ourselves. There are martial arts training classes in society. When we graduate and earn some money, we can continue our studies. Even if we can't compare to the martial sciences, at least there's still hope." As soon as he said that, Yang Jian's desk mate also said excitedly, "That's right. Get into a famous liberal arts school. When you graduate, your salary and benefits won't be low either. I still want to try." Yang Jian was hesitant. He came from a wealthy family and had a healthy body. He would not be satisfied if he did not try. Chen Fan and his desk mate did not stop Yang Jian from trying. Even though the chances were slim, there would always be people who would not give up when the opportunity was right in front of them. Although they were all young, they understood that if they dissuaded Yang Jian now and caused him to miss out on the opportunity, they would become enemies. The three of them were talking passionately, but Fan Ping was confused. What was going on? Fan Ping swallowed and looked at the three of them for a while. He did not see any signs of joking or teasing. That was when he realized that something was wrong. Just as he was about to ask, he was interrupted again. At the desk next to Fan Ping's, there were two boys whispering to each other. They probably felt that the discussion was not interesting enough with fewer people. When Fan Ping's side quieted down, a boy with a crew cut asked excitedly, "Yang Jian, Chen Fan, did you see the news online last night?" Yang Jian and his desk mate shook their heads. The Gaokao was around the corner. Now that their families were strict, they did not have time to go online. Seeing that the two of them did not know, and that Fan Ping and the other boy were also confused, the crew cut boy laughed. "What a pity!" Big news broke out last night. Did you know? Grandmaster Ma broke through rank 8. Grandmaster Ma is not even 40 years old this year, but he's already the #1 martial arts powerhouse of the younger generation. Yesterday, Penguin Corporation officially issued a letter of challenge to Google's Asia-Pacific region president, the veteran rank 8 powerhouse, Tam. What? Is this for real? Grandmaster Ma broke through rank 8? Didn't he just break through rank 7 a few years ago? I can't believe it. Zhang Hao, tell us quickly. Is it a public challenge or a private one? A rank 8 battle. I really want to watch it, but we don't have the right to watch it. The Gaokao was around the corner for Year 3 students. Not many were still online after school. Therefore, even though the news last night had caused a sensation, not many people in class knew about it. The crew-cut boy, Zhang Hao, had spoken quite loudly earlier. When he finished, before Fang Ping and the others could even respond, the students nearby who had overheard the conversation began to get excited. Zhang Hao, on the other hand, also enjoyed the joy of being the center of attention. His face was full of joy as he said, "It's true! Grandmaster Ma really broke through. It's not just us. Who in the world would dare to believe that he could break through rank 8 so quickly?" Therefore, when the letter of challenge was released, the whole world was shocked. As long as Grandmaster Ma defeats Tam this time, Penguin Corporation will be able to enter the Asian countries on a large scale and become one of the dominant groups in Asia. In a few years, once Grandmaster Ma breaks through rank 9, Penguin Corporation will become one of the dominant groups in the world. God, this is too fast. Rank 8 Grandmaster. Has the Grandmaster ranking been updated? Grandmaster Ma is going to fight his way into the top 30. Go, go, go. Top 30? I say, top 20 won't be a problem. It can't be. After all, Grandmaster Ma just broke through. How can he rise to the top 20 so quickly? Unless he defeats Tam, there's still a chance. At this time, the students were already discussing among themselves. Everyone's eyes showed excitement, admiration, agitation, and desire. Even the girls were no exception. The only exception in the entire class was Fang Ping. At this time, Fang Ping's brain was like glue. His face was blank, and he was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? He understood what everyone was saying. He could definitely recognize every word that was written. However, why could he not understand them at all when they were strung together? Who was Grandmaster Ma? Of course, he knew about Penguin Corporation. In 2008, Penguin Corporation was already the king of the IT industry. He also knew about Google. It would be strange if he did not know. Did Zhang Hao mean that Penguin and Google were competing for business? Why? Why did it sound so strange? Chapter 732. Heavenly Plant City was huge. There were inner and outer cities. The inner city mainly consisted of the royal palace and the 49 true king residences. It didn't matter if the true monarch stayed here or not. With his status here, the king's mansion was indispensable. Just as Fang Ping and the others entered the city. In the palace. In a side hall. The pale-faced middle-aged man looked at Li Yi below and sighed after a long time. It's all right. You are still too young. All these years, I've been living in the palace and have lacked experience. Although I'm smart, I've also lost some of my experience. With a face full of self-blame, Li lowered his head and said, Father, I have caused trouble for you, not really. The Lord gently waved his hand, his gaze seemingly looking out of the city. After a long time, he softly said, I am still the Lord, and the one who died was not the real king of the Tianji royal court. Even if someone guessed it, so what? Furthermore, without any evidence, who would dare to question this king? The Lord looked at Lian again and sighed. But this matter will also alert the royal court of destiny. Don't leave the imperial city in the near future to avoid trouble. I understand. Go to the Lake of Life and cultivate for the next few days. This king has already spoken to Guardian Tianyu. Quickly finish tempering your skull and enter the supremacy realm. Joy flashed in Li's eyes. Go to the lake of life to cultivate? Even for him, it was not easy to cultivate in the lake of life. Li immediately said, I'll go right away. Father, about the holy fruit this time. The heavenly elm protection will only bear 3 holy fruits this time. I'm afraid you won't be able to get them. Li's expression changed slightly. Wan Zhu said softly, If Jiao comes, no matter what, you have to give her one. As for the remaining 2, Feng extermination will probably take 1. Feng extermination? Li looked annoyed and said in a low voice, Father, how could he? Don't let your emotions show. King Lord smiled faintly and said calmly, Only by pushing the waves can you help the billows. Since the Feng clan wanted the position of King Lord, then he would grant them their wish. Feng Miexing had done bad things time and time again, but he had always reaped the benefits. Do you really think this is a good thing? The more it was like this, the more indignant and infuriating it was. This prince will also help him to mention the marriage to Ji Yao in front of everyone. If possible, this king will even have someone speak up for King Feng in the true King Hall. Hall Master might be more suitable for King Feng. Wan Shu smiled and said, the one who laughs at the end wins. You must learn to be patient. You are still too young and impatient. Li hurriedly said, I have learned my lesson. However, does King Feng dare to accept the position of Palace Master? Of course he wouldn't dare, but it's fine as long as someone dares. The Maple Duke, the White Duke, and the others have been in close contact over the years, but they are also secretly scheming against each other. They are all true monarchs, so who would be willing to be under someone else? The Lord looked at Lian and said, I'm telling you all this because I want you to understand that going too far is as bad as falling short. Endure, but you can't endure to the end. If you endure to the end, you will really become trash. Even if he was domineering, he couldn't be too domineering. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to see himself clearly, and would lose himself. You've endured humiliation for more than 10 years and have already forgotten your own identity. Feng Miexing and the Maple Duke are too domineering. I'm afraid the Maple Duke really thinks that he can compete with the Palace Master. You must remember that everything must have a limit. How you weigh it and how you control it, it's all up to you. The Lord smiled again and said, Go and think about what I said, Father, but there are 3 holy fruits. The Lord looked at him again and frowned slightly. He said in a deep voice, don't be impatient. Going too far is as bad as falling short. There are 3 holy fruits. One is for Ji Yao, one is for Feng Miexing, and I will try my best to have Tian Yu protect the last one and give it to the Huai Duke's descendant. Li fell into deep thought for a while before his eyes lit up. Father, do you mean to displease the other true monarchs? You're not that stupid. The Lord smiled faintly and said, Actually, it's better to give 2 to the Maple Duke. I'm just afraid he won't want it. I wonder if Feng Miexing's father will come. If he does, it's best to give it to him. There are 3 holy fruits and 49 true monarchs. Apart from the Palace Master who doesn't care, the other true monarchs all want to get it for their descendants. The one you gave to Ji Yao is nothing, but if you give 2 to the Maple Duke, what do you think the other true monarchs will think? They'll think that the Maple Duke is domineering and that the Feng family is greedy. Do you understand? I understand. Li no longer bothered about the holy fruits. He thought for a while and suddenly said, Father, since the Feng family wants to suppress me and Father, why don't I put on an act again? This time, I want to compete with Feng Miexing. Even if he ridicules me, it's nothing. The more arrogant and domineering Feng Miexing is, the more annoying he is. The Lord frowned slightly and said after a long while, do you know that you'll be disgraced? From now on, no one will really care about you, I understand. However, I also understand that strength is the foundation. Li gritted his teeth. As long as I become a true monarch, no one will mention today's humiliation. In the outer city, there are much fewer, 11 in total. In the imperial city, there are 99 mineral veins of life. Fan Ping's eyes were almost green. Not only him, the others were almost the same. 99? One imperial city, 99 mineral veins. It was comparable to the sum of 10 territories. In the past, Fan Ping thought that MC Mayu's cultivation environment was not bad, but how small was MC Mayu? An incomplete mineral vein, Old Zhang took 70%, MC Mayu took 30%, and it was only a part of it that was dug out. It was actually not considered a complete mineral vein. Calculating it, it was comparable to 20% of a complete mineral vein at most. 0. 2 mineral veins. Just like that, MC Mayu had become a holy land for cultivation. In the imperial city, there were 99. No wonder the people in the imperial court looked down on the other side. Not to mention anything else, just this alone was incomparable. Seeing Fan Ping and the others shocked, Maple Jade laughed again. The mineral vein of life is not the most precious. In the imperial city, there is also a lake of life. That is condensed by the Lord Protector and the monster plant powerhouses in the imperial city. Everyone may not know this, but the fountain of life condensed by the true King Realm Lord Protector is even more effective, better than the fountain of life in your other side. Fan Ping looked shocked and asked hurriedly, Sir, how many true King Realm Lord Protectors are there in the imperial city? How many? Maple Jade laughed and said, Do you think it's so easy to become a true king? In the imperial city, only Lord Tian Yu is a true king. Fan Ping did not ask in detail, but asked curiously, Sir, is the Lake of Life guarded by the Lord Protector? Maple Jade laughed. That's right. Usually, the Lord Protector will rest in the Lake of Life. Fan Ping thought for a while and said, Sir, I heard that the Monster Plant Clan can split into human form when they reach the true King Realm and walk the earth like a real person. I came from another side and have never seen the true King Monster Plant Clan before. Is the rumor true? Maple Jade became more and more arrogant. This was something that the other side could not compare to. In the Imperial City, one could see anything. True King Monster Beasts, true King Monster Plants, true King Realm Humans, they could all be encountered. But in the other side, there were no such conditions. Seeing everyone's faces full of anticipation, Maple Jade laughed and said, The rumor is true. In a few days, perhaps you will be able to see it. Not only can they split into human form, but when they reach the true King Realm, they can even transform their divine body. When you arrived at the Imperial City, did you see the Lord Protector's divine body? The Lord Protector has actually always been in the Imperial City, but his divine body has already turned into a normal human size and is in the Lake of Life. This is something that the God General level Monster Plant Clan cannot compare to. Fan Ping understood. When they reached the true King Realm, these monster plants could also shrink their bodies and could even make their mentality split body walk the earth. Even their real body could walk around. While the average rank 9 monster plant clan had a huge torso and countless roots. They also had to take root in the ground and could not move freely. Therefore, many of the monster plant clan powerhouses who had not reached the true King Realm would rather take root in the other side for hundreds or thousands of years, waiting for an opportunity. Only when they reached the true King Realm, then they could be considered to have true freedom. Fan Ping waited for his reply and said respectfully, Lord, then in the Imperial City, won't the Lord Protector's immortal deity cover the entire Imperial City? If we do things on a daily basis, isn't that too dangerous? Maple Jade frowned slightly, then smiled and said, The Lord Protector does not have so much energy to care about you. In the Imperial Court, the Lord Protector will often reveal his immortal deity, but not in the Imperial Court, the Lord Protector will not care. Moreover, the Lord Protector himself needs to cultivate, so don't worry. Moreover, the Imperial residence is not within the Lord Protector's monitoring range. Maple Jade said with a smile. The Imperial residence is the residence of the true King Lords. Although the Lord Protector is also a true king, he cannot arbitrarily monitor the Imperial residence, understand? Fan Ping hurriedly said. Understood. That's good. I'm so scared that I don't even dare to breathe. There was still a true king monster plant clan guarding the city. According to old Zhang's personality, wouldn't his every move be watched by the other party? But now, the guardian plant monster wouldn't monitor the true monarch's residence. He wouldn't care about anything else and would only appear at the imperial palace. In other words, as long as he didn't cause any trouble at the imperial palace, he wouldn't attract the attention of this true king realm demonic plant. Fang Ping asked as he walked. He could be considered a little popular. Although he was only a rank 6, Feng Yu would still answer all his questions. When Fang Ping asked if he could meet the true king often, Maple Jade said disdainfully, it was almost impossible. The true monarchs of the True Monarch Hall almost never came to the imperial city. Although they had mansions here, true monarchs rarely came here. After all, strictly speaking, the imperial city was the territory of the lord, not their king's territory. In short, in the imperial city, if one could meet a true monarch, then it would most likely be the guardian demonic plant, the Sky Elm. However, plant monster experts preferred silence, so they rarely appeared. The Feng mansion was not near the imperial palace, but at the border between the inner and outer city. Almost all of the 49 true king manors were like this. On one hand, they didn't want to get close to the palace, and on the other hand, they didn't want to interfere with each other. Powerhouses all had mentality, which covered a large area. If the distance was close, the other party would notice the slightest movement here. This was not what they wanted to see. Therefore, these manors formed a circle, surrounding the imperial palace. Feng Mansion. This was a huge mansion that occupied a vast area. At the main entrance, 8 general-level powerhouses guarded the door, looking awe-inspiring as well. As soon as Feng Yesheng arrived, these people knelt down and greeted him loudly. Welcome back, Your Highness! Dispense with the formalities. As soon as Feng Yesheng finished speaking, a rank 8 old man walked out of the huge mansion. When he saw Feng Yesheng, he smiled brightly and hurried forward to greet him. At this moment, Fang Ping and the others were like invisible people, listening to everyone's conversation. The person who came was the Feng Mansion's chief. There were no god generals guarding here, only this rank 8 chief. Other than this rank 8, there were more than 10 rank 7 chieftains in the mansion, leading a group of Feng Imperial Army to guard here. In addition to the rank 8, Feng Yesheng brought a rank 8 fifth powerhouse and 2 rank 7 powerhouses. This was considered extremely powerful. 2 rank 8s, almost 15 rank 7s, and hundreds of rank 6 powerhouses. Other than the fact that there were no rank 9s, the number of powerhouses was comparable to the number of powerhouses in an outer city. As soon as they entered the mansion, Feng Yesheng ignored Fang Ping and the others. Accompanied by the chief, they walked toward the inner courtyard. Feng Yu stayed behind to help Fang Ping and the others settle down. After Feng Yesheng and the others left, Feng Yu smiled and said, Settle down here first. I'll teach you some rules. Don't embarrass Lord Feng. When His Highness returns to the Maple Imperial region, he will bring you back with him. Fang Ping was all smiles. Sir, is there no Lord Divine General guarding the mansion? Feng Yu frowned slightly. Soon he smiled and said, This is just a temporary imperial residence. Moreover, it's located in the imperial city. There's no need for Lord Divine General to guard the mansion. Moreover, no one dares to behave atrociously in the Feng Mansion. That's true. Who would dare to behave atrociously in the Feng Mansion? Fang Ping agreed wholeheartedly. As they walked, he said, Your Highness came to the imperial city for the holy fruit. Lord Guardian's holy fruit? That's right. Feng Yu's face was full of envy. He smiled and said, Lord Guardian will bear a holy fruit every 10 years. At least 1, at most 3 to 5. You have to know that Lord Guardian is a true king monster plant. It's very difficult for demons to become a true king. It's even more difficult for a monster plant. Lord Guardian's holy fruit even contains some understanding of godhood. Powerhouses who don't understand godhood will be tempted. Your Highness has hopes of getting one this time. After you consume it, you might be able to achieve upper stage commander level very quickly. After cultivating in the Lake of Life for a period of time, you might be able to forge an indestructible body and enter the venerable state. Fang Ping looked envious. If that was the case, the holy fruit was amazing. Not only could it increase mentality, but it might also help him understand the origin of Tao. Even that useless Feng Yexing had the confidence to achieve rank 8 very quickly. If he consumed it, his mentality would increase by a lot, right? Currently, Fang Ping's golden body honing was still related to his mentality's shortcomings. Feng Yexing is confident that he can get one. Ji Yao is also confident that she can get one. If I consume 2, my mentality should be able to break through 4,000 Hz or even higher, right? Fang Ping had already started calculating, thinking about the effects after consuming it. As for Feng Mansion, true kings would not simply probe other true kings' mansions, let alone others. There were only 2 rank 8 here. One was a rank 8 5th refinement, while the other was a rank 8 4th or 5th refinement. I might not be able to take them down if I fight them head-on. But if I take them by surprise and they don't guard against me, I might be able to defeat them in an instant. As Fang Ping thought about this, he made up his mind to snatch Feng Yexing's opportunity. However, if he snatched it, even if he did not expose himself, he might not be able to stay. I hope I can do something else before that. Also, at the king battlefield, I snatched Feng Yexing this time. Should I kill him? If I kill him, I might not be able to go to the king battlefield anymore. Also, how am I going to escape after snatching it? That's also a problem. Fang Ping's mind was filled with thoughts, but he remained calm and collected as he followed Feng Yu and continued walking forward. Very soon, they arrived at a courtyard. Feng Yu smiled. You guys can rest here for now and cultivate in peace. If you guys don't have any missions for the next few days, try not to go out to avoid trouble. The Imperial City is not the Maple Imperial City after all. Especially Kuei Ming. Feng Yu thought about it and still reminded him. His Highness Li might hate you. This is the Imperial City. If he sends someone to attack you, you might not be able to escape death. Fang Ping was not afraid. He said in a low voice, Sir, if His Highness Li attacks me, can I retaliate? Feng Yu glanced at him. After a while, he sighed softly. If someone attacks you, it will be at least a commander level. Anyway, you better be careful. Of course, if a warlord attacks you, then so be it. It's no big deal. This is for all of you. In the Imperial City, most people don't dare to cause trouble, but to us, killing a few people is nothing. However, don't get caught by the Tianji military. They will patrol the Imperial City. If you get caught, the Tianji military will not be on good terms with us. I'm afraid you guys will be in trouble. Fang Ping nodded. Seeing that Feng Yu was about to leave, Fang Ping smiled and said, Sir, we just arrived and know nothing about the Imperial City. Can you give us some basic information, such as the distribution of the royal mansions, the names of the true kings, the distribution of the major forces in the Imperial City, as well as some information about the powerhouses in the Imperial City to avoid offending people that we shouldn't offend and causing trouble for His Highness? If you don't find it troublesome, I hope you can also tell us some other information, such as which royal mansions are on good terms with, and which families are at odds with. This way, we won't be disorganized when we do things in the future. Hearing this, Feng Yu could not help but laugh. You're a smart person. You're quite quick-witted. Originally, I would tell you guys about these things when I returned to the Maple Imperial City. However, since we're in the Imperial City now and we still have to stay for some time, there's no harm in telling you guys in advance. Settle down first. Someone will come and guide you guys later. Thank you for your guidance, sir. Fang Ping thanked him. Then, he looked at Jin Yuhuai and hinted with his eyes. Jin Yuhuai's face turned purple, but he quickly recovered his smile. A crystal box appeared in his hand. He handed it over with both hands and was about to speak with a face full of smiles. Before he could speak, Fang Ping smiled and said, I've troubled you along the way, sir. This is just a small gift. Please accept it, sir. When we have a firm foothold in the imperial court, we won't forget sir's kindness today. Feng Yu was also full of smiles. He happily took the crystal box from Jin Yuhuai's hands. Without even looking at Jin Yuhuai, he looked at Fang Ping and said, "When you become the commander, you and I will also become colleagues and take care of each other in the future." "That's for sure." Fang Ping laughed heartily and quickly said, "Sir, we're outsiders and have just entered the royal mansion, so we don't know the rules. In order to prevent people from stirring up trouble, can Kui Ming take on the task of disciplining and make everyone abide by some rules?" Feng Yu glanced at the others and said with a smile, "If you're willing, that's even better. Try not to leave the mansion. His Highness has just returned and needs to rest for a few days. He will summon you guys later." "Thank you for your guidance, sir." Both of them exchanged some pleasantries. Soon Feng Yu left. As soon as he left, Fang Ping tidied up his armor and glanced at the people around him. Seeing that some of them were looking at him with hostility, Fang Ping smiled calmly and said, "Everyone has heard it. In the next few days I, Kui, will be everyone's leader. Don't stir up trouble and don't cause trouble for His Highness. Here, no one will care if your father is a divine general or a venerable. If you die in the imperial court, I'm afraid your father's generation won't even know that you've died. If anyone wants to go out, you must report to me." "All right, everyone is dismissed." Although some of the people were dissatisfied, they did not say anything at this moment. Fan Ping and Feng Yu had formed a relationship, and he was valued by Feng Yexing. Here, not in the outside world, they did not have elders to support them. If they died here, they would really have died in vain. Soon everyone dispersed. Just as Jin Yuhuai was about to leave, Fang Ping suddenly said, "Brother Jin, let's chat for a while more. Come to my room." Fang Ping did not choose a room, but those fellows were very self-aware. No one snatched a small independent courtyard in the courtyard. Obviously it was reserved for Fang Ping. Jin Yuhuai's expression turned even uglier. This time coming to the restricted area, he thought that he could reap some great benefits. Who knew that not long after he arrived, he would suffer a few losses? Kui Ming, this treacherous villain, shameless to the extreme. Jin Yuhuai regretted it. If he had known this would happen, he would not have gone up to promote the pills when Kui Ming and the others arrived. He would not have chatted with Kui Ming either. Now, it was too late for regrets. Genius in a second, remember this site's address. Mobile version. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.